Press pause, put the controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. My name is TJ Leo.
And I am Andrew.
And this is episode 18 of Press Pause, the gaming podcast. How are you, my friend?
Sore.
Mr. Blister.
Yeah. So, to throw continuity out of the window for a moment, we recorded a Press Pause Extra yesterday. Don't know when that'll go up, but the edit will be done soon. I'm almost finished with it.
Next week, probably.
But we did it at your place. We went and we brought, it was like a gaming magazine show and tell about, gaming magazines, what they were like, and a few examples. Mm-hmm. And I walked over, and it's not even that far to your place, but I somehow managed to get a massive blister on my foot, and it's bigger than I thought. Like when I took a look at it after getting to your place, I was like, oh yeah, the skin's separated a little, but it's not that bad. It's actually pretty bad. It's like the size of a quarter, and it's about as thick as 3 quarters.
You need new shoes?
Those are new shoes.
Oh.
They're like 1.5 years old.
That's not... So they recommend you replace your shoes once a year, I think.
Fuck that.
Which is crazy to me.
Never.
I know.
For how expensive shoes are.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get it. You want to invest in something that you're going to put, like, it goes on your feet, man. It supports your weight.
Yeah.
You ought to be, buying good quality shoes.
Yeah, it should be a priority.
But they're expensive, man.
Yeah, what I end up doing instead is I buy new Dr. Scholl's super gel pads twice a year. Like once every 6 months. Just to keep that part nice and plush. Because I do a lot of walking, so but it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. We weren't even sure how we were going to do it. I had an idea. You had an idea. We settled mostly on your idea. Actually, pretty much entirely on your idea, and I think that actually turned out to be the way to go because both of us were really surprised at how good it looked when we just held the magazine up to my phone camera.
Yeah, that's a dope camera.
I thought for sure that I was going to have to take photos of the pages and then superimpose them on top when we were talking about them. But I think I'm only going to have to do that once. And only because I got it out of the frame a little bit when I was talking about a specific image. But other than that, it's perfect. It's nice and legible. Even when we hold up text, like we talk about that Lunar ad, you brought up that it has the eBay trademark on it. You can see that when I hold it up.
Wow, really?
When you look in the right spot. I was really, really impressed. So Sony,
I don't understand why anyone buys like actual cameras anymore.
Sony, well done on the Xperia line of phones. That is a serious camera.
I thought my camera was good, but yours is like next level.
Yeah, impressed the hell out of me.
Very good. How old is the phone?
It's like 2 years old.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mine's much older than that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. A little bit of housekeeping. As always, a reminder, if you want the audio-only version, we are on Spotify. I am toying with the idea of not editing it in terms of the cuts. Like the dead
Silences.
zone cuts. Because I guess I've been getting some feedback about it, and while they really like having an audio-only version, some of the cuts end up being a little bit jarring.
Yeah, it does. It's not perfect. It does sometimes cut off the very end of a sentence or the very beginning of something.
Yeah,
we have to be better about dead zones in general because those are murder on an audio listener. It gets them like checking their phone to see if
it's working.
Yeah,
if it's still playing. Yeah,
did their battery die or something?
Yeah, it's tough to continuously talk the whole time and make sure you're saying something of substance. So
yeah. Yeah, especially when both of us are looking something up, because like when we know we're going to talk about something, we make sure that we try to have it up on a browser window at all times. But then we'll say, "Oh, I wonder what that was," and then we're like, "Oh yeah, we can look it up," and we take 10 seconds of silence to look
Someone's
it up on
vamp
Moby Games or something. Yeah,
we got to get better at vamping when it's needed.
Yeah,
but that's cool. We'll figure it out. I'll consider doing my kind of conflict with doing an unedited audio version is because we have a lot of those long periods of time, especially during Video Game 20 Questions.
Mm-hmm.
it's not a great audio experience for some people, but some people also like that because it gives them time to like mentally breathe when they're listening to the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a tough
I
call.
would say try never to have a pause that's longer than 3 seconds, because if it's longer than that, that's when I start going, is something wrong here?
Mm, mm. Well, unless you're watching, in which case you can
Unless
see
you're
them
watching.
still moving. Yeah.
But I mean, that's a whole different thing. For the audio, I would say no pause longer than 3 seconds, and then you start cutting. That's just my policy, though.
Yeah. If I could do it manually to make sure it sounded good, I would. But that's a lot of work. Because I basically would have to listen to the whole thing and just wait and cut it. Like, it's just a lot of work.
Yeah, I've spent like the whole. I've actually been really surprised at how fast I've been going through this video edit. It didn't actually
considering how much work is needed. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't actually turn out to be as long. Like getting through the first magazine where it's got my mom's mailing address on the front, I spent more time on that than the rest of it combined because I had to keep putting up the mosaic and getting it covered up.
Yeah.
But I've actually
Did you just blur it out, or what'd you do?
Yeah, I just got a little pixelation filter and put it up there. And there's some other like cuts that I've done. Like I said that thing about Magus and Chrono Trigger, and immediately after I said it, I was like, wait, I'm totally wrong about that. I'm thinking about
I didn't think so.
Yeah, I'm thinking about beating the game before you get him. But we just, we got into the rest of the conversation, so I just cut that part out because there was no clean way of correcting it with a notation. We got onto a tangent about John Carmack briefly, and it wasn't super long, but it was long enough and off topic enough that I cut that as well. Like just little things like that.
Little things, yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, if at some point we start making money off of this and we get a good following going, hiring a producer or getting a producer for the show would be a good idea. I actually
really enjoy editing.
I mean, if you want to take over that full time, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just dump that on you because it's work.
Yeah, it is work, but
it's work we're not paid for. So.
I actually really, really enjoy editing. It's like organizational therapy to me.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy like certain aspects of it and certain.
I've also I've included some fun extras in that. I don't think you'll object to in the video. You'll appreciate it. You'll enjoy it.
I'm pretty easygoing.
Yeah.
I feel like out of the two of us, I would say like you're probably more. I don't even know what the word is, but careful with things we say and what we want to, how we want to come across and stuff like that. I'm a little bit more brazen. I feel like.
So here's how I think about it. I am on. There's like a spectrum of being a loudmouth and keeping your mouth shut.
Yeah.
I occupy both extreme ends of that spectrum, and you're in the middle. I can be the guy who should really be shutting up, but I'm not. But I can also be the guy who's like, shut the fuck up, shut.
Yeah,
I feel like you're in the middle. I exist at both ends of that, and very little in between. You exist much more in the in between area, and I jump back and forth.
That's fair. I've been told I'm. What's the word my dad used? He's like, you're wise beyond your years in terms of like. I don't even know. Just, I guess certain things I say are very objective, and I try to play devil's advocate for pretty much everything.
Yeah, I do that a lot too.
It gets on some people like take that as something that's really annoying.
Yeah. So there, because some people when they play devil's advocate are really obnoxious about it and argumentative, and it almost seems like they're just trying to start a fight.
Yeah.
And you're not that kind of person, but a lot of people won't recognize the difference, especially if they don't know a person.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, because I've known you most of my life, I know that you don't go looking for fights. So when you're playing devil's advocate, I know you're doing it out of like genuine, intellectual curiosity at looking at the other side of something.
And there's limits to that too. Like, there's obviously some topics and certain things where I'm like, there's no reason for me to play devil's advocate.
No reason to give that any oxygen whatsoever.
No,
there's no good faith discussion to be had there.
No, exactly. Yeah. Well, all right, let's move on. Let's
Hmm.
get into what we've been playing. I have a few things to talk about. Do you have anything new to vamp about?
Nothing really new. Just I did show you some stuff when I was over yesterday. We spent a little time looking at the NES version of TMNT Tournament Fighters, which you didn't even know was a thing.
No,
I thought, oh, this would be fun.
and it seems to play pretty decently for an NES fighting
For an
game.
NES, yes, that's the qualifier for an NES fighting game.
Hmm.
It's not bad.
Which there really wasn't
Granted,
any.
there aren't a lot of NES fighting games.
Brawlers, yes,
I
but
can
not
think of
fighting
like
games.
two off the top of my head, three if you count Double Dragon versus mode.
Was the original Street Fighter on NES?
No,
Like the like Street Fighter 1?
nope,
No, it was
nope,
a
nope,
Super?
nope. That was a Super. Well, no, it was that wasn't on Super Nintendo. It was an arcade game. It was on the Turbo Graphics though.
Oh, good lord. Okay.
Yeah, that one only ever had like the one version, and it didn't really get ported around that much.
Yeah.
It is actually, I should say, it is on the Street Fighter collection.
Oh, really?
That I talked to you about.
That's interesting.
I forgot that it was on there, but that's because it was only the one version. We were talking about how many different versions of every Street Fighter game there are, and I was like, "Oh, this is like a dozen games on this collection." I forgot it does have Street Fighter One on there, but just the one because there
That's
is
cool.
only the one. There is, however, a Commodore 64 version of it, I believe.
Oh, let's not even go there.
Yeah, and there's a
Good
DOS
lord.
version. It wasn't on Super Nintendo or Genesis for some reason, which is very strange. But I mean, it was probably the right decision because Street
Yeah,
Fighter 2 took
I
the
would
world by
agree.
storm.
For sure. Yeah, so I haven't been playing anything new. I've been replaying stuff because I'm kind of in this like,
Yeah, you showed me a bit of Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm in this mode where well, first of all, I mean, gaming's expensive, so I don't have anything new to play right now. I just finished with Star Wars Outlaws. Obviously, we've talked about that before, and I'm I'm a little bit higher on that game the longer it sits with me.
Yeah, I find that happens. I focus on the highs and lows of the game at their more extreme points when I'm playing it, and then after I've had some time to like let it relax. Like I'm not nearly as fussed about Elden Ring as I was with the first time I came on the show to talk about it when I
Mm,
just finished it and I was still really salty about how hard it was.
yeah, that's fair though.
I mean, it is. I do still think it is ridiculously difficult, but I'm not as upset by it. I'm like, okay.
And they've done some nerfs since then.
Yeah.
So,
There have been some patches and
yeah.
stuff to that.
But yeah, you mentioned I was playing Ghost of Tsushima. I'm 3/4 of the way done replaying it, and it's definitely a game that I like. I think I've mentioned this before, but it's not in my like pantheon of first party PlayStation favorites.
Hmm.
But replaying it, I'm like, man, this game was really good.
Yeah.
The attention to detail is insane. The loading times I've mentioned before
Yeah.
are
Well,
like
you
lightning.
first thing you did was showed me the fast travel loading times.
It's
And it
literally
was,
a second.
yeah, it was so quick that you could have easily excused it as just an artful transition
Yeah,
instead
it's
of
crazy.
a loading screen. It was really really fast. And
Which,
as for
by the way, that is
yeah.
the same loading time that you will get when you start the game up.
Oh wow.
So it loads in 1 second to the main menu, and then you click continue, and then 1 second later you're in the game.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's right. It did come up. No. You were in the middle.
I was
of
already in it
Yeah,
for,
you
for
had
a
it
standby.
suspended, right?
Yeah, but
so.
if you play it straight
Yeah,
from
it's
from
not
zero,
that much of a difference
no, it's
from
1
coming out
second.
of sleep mode. Yeah, that's crazy. And
Yeah,
the attention
just
to detail. You showed me that outfit, and I was really impressed at how much clipping wasn't happening. Although
yeah, it's
you did
gorgeous.
show me that one outfit.
The one
where there
outfit
was,
sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we'll get
like
into that
was
in a future topic of the week.
that was yeah. You told me about that, but
Yeah.
that was like the one shortcoming I saw in the admittedly short. Like you played it for like 5 minutes just
Yeah.
to show me what was what because I just never played it before.
It's a very deep game, so there's a lot to show.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only real complaint, and the longer I play it, the more I kind of know why it's not forgettable. See, it's such a hard game for me to like articulate, because it is so polished and so
Mhm.
PlayStation and so good. But I think what lowers it on that tier list for me is I just find the main character kind of forgettable. A lot of people love him, and that's great,
Yeah.
but he's not very emotive. He's very monotone. There are a couple of moments that stand out in the game where he does get emotive.
He's a samurai character. He's gonna have that sort of stoic
take emotion
kind of
out of
thing.
it,
Yeah.
and they do
And
explain that.
yeah.
Like it's explained in the story, and you play him
Yeah.
as a child or not a younger version of
Yeah.
himself, where he's learning all of that and to control his emotions and stuff like that. So it
Yeah.
makes sense from a
But
story standpoint.
some people aren't going to resonate with a very stoic character.
Right, and he does have moments where he comes out of that shell, and
Yeah.
it's rewarding when that happens. But it's so few and far between that it makes
Yeah.
him kind of forgettable in that sense.
Yeah. It
That's
also
really my
has
only complaint.
it also has the problem of being an open world game in a market that is saturated with open
it.
world games. Like it doesn't make it worse. It feels kind of homogenous because so many other things are out there like that. Even on the PlayStation, like you've got Horizon Zero Dawn is another franchise, and the recent God of War games have been open world style,
semi-open world,
not quite to the same degree as
kind of like Tomb Raider
Horizons.
style.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot to compare it directly against, and as a result, it just doesn't stand out as much as it would have if it had, come out at an era where that hadn't been such a prominent style of game.
Yeah. That being said, it does some amazing open world stuff. Like I didn't show you the waypoint system and how that works. So like in most open world games, you pin a point on the map, or you select an objective marker on the map, and your compass will point towards it, or you'll see like a pathway appear, like one of those fake lines, something, or a big beam of light appears in the distance.
A big beam of light, yeah. Zelda does that.
But in this game, the wind changes.
I know. I do actually know about that. The direction of the wind,
shows you where to
little
go.
lines of wind change.
Yeah, and it's not just the lines of wind, but like you can see the trees and the grass move in that direction. Like it's very cool.
Yeah.
And you can find secrets by following animals. They'll lead you to things, like you can follow foxes and they'll lead you
now,
to...
Now, here's my question. Do they directly tell you about following animals to find secrets, or is that... No?
They don't directly tell you, but when you talk to villagers and stuff like that, they'll be like, the spirits speak through the animals of the forest.
But there's not like a pop-up that says follow... Okay.
Everything's very organically told.
I love that. I love it when games do that. You know what game does that really, really well? Halo ODST.
Yeah, that's a great game.
When you're in the open world, like intermission stage,
the city
between missions, sometimes shit will go ballistic, like traffic lights will start going off. And I remember that was happening when I was first playing it, and I was like, "Oh man, I got to get out of here. That's going to draw attention." Like, wow, they've done a really good job of making this feel like a place that just got fucked up, because it's New Mombasa after the Covenant ship does the hyperspace jump.
Yeah.
Just over the city in Halo 2. But then something happened. I found one of those terminals in the game where you get the security footage of that young woman.
Right.
And I did that, and then I noticed all of the stuff going apeshit suddenly stopped. All the street lights stopped flashing, all the car horns stopped beeping. I was like, wait a minute. And then the next time it happened, and I found another terminal nearby, and I used it, got the story, and then those lights and sounds stopped going. I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is the city's AI trying to get my attention and tell me that there's a terminal nearby. That's why it stopped. Oh, that's really clever, Bungie.
That is clever.
I felt so fucking smart when I figured that out. I was like,
that is cool.
And that's the kind of thing that a lot of games would give you a pop-up message saying the city's AI, I think it's called Virgil. The city's AI is trying to get
or they give you like a tracker that beeps when something's near.
Or it'll if it's Ubisoft, it'll just be like, it'll mark it out on the map.
Mark it on the map.
Yeah. But no, they were like,
there's
no,
a secret here. Go get it.
We won't directly tell the player. We'll just let them figure it out if they do. If they don't, whatever. Yeah. And I totally figured it out. It was so cool in a game that is already super, super atmospheric.
Do you know what they call that? They call that good game design.
Yeah, they do.
And so many developers or publishers.
It's a shame they let those people
lazy.
go and gave Halo to another studio.
Yeah, we talked about the name change last week.
Yeah, look, I don't want to be down on 343/Halo Studios. I don't think they do as bad a job as everyone else does, but they're not Bungie.
They're not Bungie. No.
Look,
And Bungie's not even Bungie these days. So
No. A lot of
it's
people have
unfortunate.
left. It's now air quotes Bungie. The Super Best Friends talked about that years ago.
Yeah.
How BioWare is now air quotes BioWare
BioWare.
because a lot of
New
those
BioWare.
people from like the old Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights team, like most of those people are gone.
Yeah, I think the name change, sitting on it for a week now, I think the name change to Halo Studios was a good move because it's a rebrand. Hopefully it's a new start for them.
I mean, it's not even really any different than calling it 343. That's literally the designation of the
Master
Halo.
Chief.
No, the Halo AI, the 343 Guilty Spark.
Oh, Guilty
The little
Spark,
light bulb guy. It's like just literally, and also it's just.
But I mean,
numbers.
it's okay. Like it's still a new start.
Yeah.
I almost wish BioWare was renamed.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've got that brand recognition.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, it's not necessarily a good thing for them right now.
Yeah, but
we'll see what happens with Dragon Age.
Yeah,
I mean, if Dragon Age turns out really good,
yeah, Veilguard looks like it'll be decent. I mean,
it does.
I haven't played it, so I don't know. But from what I saw, it looked okay.
The amount of people that are complaining online about it being woke I'm starting to get like.
People just they automatically say that as long if they see one person. It's like that Family Guy meme with the paint swatches, like the lighter skin shades okay, darker skin shades not okay. It's like that. If they see somebody in that darker swatch, they just automatically go, "Oh, it's woke." It's like
that's because they're morons.
What does that even mean?
It doesn't mean anything. These people are just stupid. It's like. And the funniest part about it is like you're gonna play it if it's good, so shut the hell up.
It's like the people who said we're gonna boycott Left 4 Dead 2 because it came out just a year after Left 4
or
Dead
Hogwarts
1.
Legacy.
Yeah.
That went over real well. 25 million copies sold.
Yeah, like I mean, if you don't want to play a game, you don't want to play a game, but like
don't shit on it for reasons that make no sense.
Yeah,
it's just annoying. It's like. Have a brain in your head, people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really annoying. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Ghost of Tsushima. Before I get to my next games that I'm replaying through, have you heard of UFO 50? Don't look it up if you haven't heard of it.
I have heard of it.
Okay. So after watching you play Space Harrier and what was that game called? Card of Darkness?
Oh yeah, God of Protectors, Cart of Darkness.
Card of Darkness.
I've talked about it on the show before.
UFO 50 seems like it's like right up your alley, and you need to play that.
Oh yeah,
let me know.
I've been hearing a lot of people talking about it, but not saying much about it. So I'm like, oh, it's one of those games, huh? Maybe I should. Check
so do you know the concept of it?
It's apparently a bunch of mini games or something like that.
So okay. That's the misconception about it. So that's not what it is. So
okay,
the idea of the game is that it is a collection of 50 games.
Okay.
But the idea of it is that it is it is like a real collection of games that did exist under a specific developer. So it's like the Capcom collection, let's say. But this company never existed.
Okay.
But they treat it like it did exist.
Yeah, I've seen like they did that with Dark Zero. They had that old school arcade I think it was called Dark Zero. It was the Capcom game with the jetpack. What was that called? Was that called Dark Zero? I feel like it was called Dark Zero. But they
Dark
made
Sector?
It...
Oh, Dark Void.
Dark Void, yes.
No, it's not like that at all. No.
Maybe it was called Dark Void Zero. Was the like old school arcade? It was. They were pretending like, oh, this is a game we made back in the day, but it really wasn't. It was just a promo tie-in. So it was fake...
but this is the whole concept of the game.
Yeah, the whole concept of the game.
It's like Rare Replay, but for a fake company that never existed. Yeah, right. So you can literally go back to the first game they made, and it's like janky and kind of trashy, and literally work your way up through the 50 games and see as they get better and better at making games. And but they're all full games. They're not mini games. Some of these games like last like 17 hours. Like
Jesus Christ,
they're like huge games. There's a Metroidvania in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of like reviews and coverage on it, and they're like, out of the 50 games, there's probably about like 25 that are like excellent.
Yeah.
And then out of those 25, there's probably about like 10 that are games that you'll come back to time and time again because they're just so good.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
That's
and then
a great number.
The other 25 that didn't make that cut are still good.
Yeah.
And then there's like one that's trash, but it's trash on purpose because of the meta of the game.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay, so it's like an inverse action 52.
yeah,
Okay, I'm all about it then.
yeah, yeah.
I'll check
Like
that out.
it's kind of unbelievable how many games are on this thing. And the genres run the gambit. Like
Yeah,
there's
I
a
wonder how
Punch Out
much
clone, there's a Metroidvania, there's side scrollers,
I wonder how much
Contra
time they
likes.
spent
Like
making that, because that's not a small
no,
that's not a small project. That's a
no, and
lot.
they're all mostly like NES, Super Nintendo style games.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's right up your alley from what I can tell. So
All right.
I
I'll
hope you
check it
get that
out.
one and let me know. It's not available on console, so I will not be playing it. But given how much fire it's catching,
Yeah.
it'll be on console at some point.
Yeah. It'll come eventually.
So we'll see that when it comes to console. The other game I'm replaying, I'm streaming for. I think I've mentioned this already, but I'm streaming for my sister because she had carpal tunnel surgery.
Yeah.
So I'm streaming games to keep her occupied as she recovers. And we beat Uncharted 1.
Ah, okay.
Man, that game is janky and old feeling.
Yeah, well, by today's standards.
By today's standards, especially. I forgot how much of a shooter it is in comparison to the other games. It is waves upon waves upon waves of shooters or shooting, and the game is just really green. It's just the entire game is basically in a jungle.
Yeah, green
or ruins
and that
in a jungle.
that like golden beige stone that all
Yeah.
ruins are apparently made of by law.
Yeah. And yes, we played that, and my sister was like, "Yeah, it was fine." But then we moved. I'm like, "Wait till you see Uncharted 2," and we've moved on to Uncharted 2. We're about 3/4 of the way through that one, and she's like, "This is like a fucking movie. This is amazing." Yeah. I'm like, "It's kind of unbelievable the jump from 1 to 2." Like that's when Naughty Dog was like, "All right,
they figured
we're going to be like a quadruple A developer and really kill this." I can't wait to get to 3, and then I've never replayed 4, so I can't wait to get to 4, and I've never replayed Lost Legacy either, so can't wait to continue playing those.
Yeah,
that train sequence, man, from Uncharted 2, still holds up, so good. But you can definitely see where they've improved, like the animations, like the animation transitions are not great in Uncharted 1 and 2. We'll see how they do in 3 and 4, but like, like to like drop down on a cliff edge.
Yeah.
You kind of have to just either walk off or roll off, and the animation will just kind of randomly jank change into grabbing, know. It's like, why isn't there a drop down cue, kind of thing. But it's still just phenomenal what they did, especially how old those games are. It's crazy. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing. I plan on replaying or not replaying because I really didn't give it a fair shot, but I plan on giving a second shot
revisiting
Metaphor, the demo.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things.
And I've heard some things that like improve it over Persona for me from a design standpoint.
You know what I heard? I heard that if you take a shit on certain days, you get a free boost to your luck stat.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, I didn't know it was that detailed, but sure, we'll go with that. Yeah, I'm gonna give it another shot. I'm gonna play the demo fully and try to open my mind a little bit to it. Right. We'll see. So yeah, that's my gaming plan this week. Also, some Game Pass games are coming out this week, so we'll talk about that later in the show. But for now, unless you have anything to add before we move on,
nope.
Okay. Then I think it's a special time.
Is it time to return to the time of the letters?
It is. It's letter time. It's letter time. Today's letter.
Herman freaking out like that's the word of the day.
Okay, was that Fat Albert?
No, it's Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, Pee Wee. Oh God. He's a special
Mr.
cat.
Herman.
He's special.
Mr. Herman, you have a telephone call.
Was he? No, I'm thinking of Mr. Bean for some reason. I don't know why. I saw Man vs. Bee. Did you see that?
No.
No? Okay. Moving on. Call2K writes in.
Ah, your co-host from
Yes,
Wrestling
Wrestling
Renaissance.
Renaissance. Yeah. Um, Thoughts on console and PC games making mobile versions of their games recently, like the recently released Fortnite Mobile, Call of Duty Mobile, and most recently Destiny Mobile. I'll also add the fact that they've put like Resident Evil 7, I think,
Yeah,
on
yeah, they
mobile and
have.
stuff like that. Um, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Call of Duty Mobile is being closed because it failed.
I
I'm gonna look
think
that up real quick. You vamp in response
yeah,
to that.
sure.
I'll look that up real quick.
So I am generally of the opinion that if a platform can run a game, yeah, sure, put it there. The more people who can play it, the better. Um, and especially like older games where running them on a modern phone is like no problem whatsoever. Sure, go for it. I even 100%ed Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on iOS with touchscreen controls. It was the full PlayStation game. And I had a lot of fun with that, aside from the fact that they changed the soundtrack because I guess they didn't want to relicense all the old music and the new music wasn't as good. But that's not the point. The point is, if you can do it, great. As you know, as long as you don't have to compromise too much.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to compromise too much, then you're not really porting the game, are you? Like there was a mobile version of Resident Evil 4 many years ago that was not the GameCube version. It was a distinct version, and it was not bad, but it was a different game. And these days, I mean, this was back in the days where you could not have put a GameCube game on a mobile phone because this was like 2010, and it would have been too much. These days, you could put the classic Resident Evil 4 on a phone from even a few years ago, and you'd have no problem doing it.
Yeah.
I'm honestly a little bit surprised they haven't done that, considering how Resident Evil 4 Classic has been ported everywhere.
Well, here's my question, and I have two technically. Number one, who is asking for this?
I'm asking for it.
You want AAA games on console and PC class like games on mobile?
If they're games that you can get working there, sure, why not?
But why? Why wouldn't you just play them on console or PC where you'll get a better experience?
Well, for me, I probably already have them, but I'm thinking of all the people who have purchased a $1,000 phone and thus maybe don't have money left over for a 950 USD PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah, don't buy that.
Yeah. So
In Canada, at least.
If you can get those and they're of comparable quality to the big boy versions and they're portable, why wouldn't you? People beg for ports to the Switch so that they can take it with them. Why not port it to a much more powerful iPhone or Galaxy S, whatever the fuck, or Google Pixel or whatever,
Which brings me to my second question, which is, I'd love to see the sales numbers.
Yeah, so you mentioned Resident Evil. Apparently, I forget if it was 7 or 8. It might actually be both at this point. The sales numbers are apparently not great.
For the mobile version?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's...
And just to confirm, Call of Duty Mobile is not shutting down, but they did say in their financial report that it is very underperforming.
Yeah, okay, so it's potentially...
Which makes sense. Who wants to play a first-person shooter competitively on a...
Well, apparently there are places in the world where that's a big thing. Like, I think it's in Southeast Asian countries like India. Apparently, mobile gaming is a much bigger thing there than it is here because that's the primary platform that a lot of people
So
game
they're
on.
trying to break into markets that they have no penetration in.
Yeah, where game consoles either aren't sold or they're sold at such exorbitant prices that nobody can afford them. Because the game console only does one thing: it plays games. But your phone, your phone these days is basically an entire computer in your pocket.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I can absolutely see it being being a thing for emerging markets. I can see it being a thing for, hey, remember this game from 10, 15 years ago? It's back in portable form. Like you can get, or at least you could. I don't know if you still can, but you for a while you could get the PS2 GTA games on mobile. You could get GTA 3 and Vice City and San Andreas.
Chinatown Wars. Did that ever come
Uh
to mobile?
I don't know.
It should.
I would hope that it would have, because there's like Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories, and the at least the PSP version of Chinatown Wars, which is like the DS version is just top down like the old GTA games, but the PSP version is like
Yeah. I don't know.
is like GTA 3. So I honestly I'm all for it, but then I'm also not the one who's doing the work and spending the money on it. So maybe my feelings on it would be different if I was on the business. Yeah, when I say the business end, I mean the actual business end, the behind the scenes making it end.
The developer end.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same train as you. It's like if you can do it well, then sure. I just from a business standpoint, make sure there's a market.
Yeah,
for it.
Yeah, definitely do that first.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't see a market for it in North America.
There's always going to be a market for the color matching tile games.
Yes,
which is why all those puzzle games do well. They sell for like $1, and they sell millions of units, and they have microtransactions where you can buy in-game currency or buy more playtime or any of that shit. The market for quote unquote real games has really only become a thing on mobile within the last decade or so, because at first they just weren't powerful enough, and so it's a thing that people are getting more used to, but I think it's taken more time. And like you said, here in North America, I'm not sure it's as much of a thing, but I do know in other parts of the world it is a much bigger market than it is here. So that might be the way to go.
Yeah, hell, especially these days with like Steam Decks, and you got the Switch, and you got
Well, you know what there is? In China, the Nvidia Shield has a few Nintendo games as part of their partnership with Nintendo. You can get Mario Galaxy only on the Chinese Nvidia Shield. I believe it has to, number one, be a Chinese unit, and it has to, I think, come from when you're accessing the online store, I think it has to come from a Chinese IP address. There's ways to get around that, of course, VPNs and proxies and stuff, but it actually has to be, I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure it has to be a shield specifically made for the Chinese market. But yeah, Digital Foundry has a video on that where they show, because they managed to get their hands on one, they show off like Mario Galaxy, and I think there's another one. I think it's Twilight Princess that they have on the Nvidia Shield, and it's fully licensed by Nintendo, but it's only available in China because
China's a very strange market.
It's a weird market, yeah.
Yeah.
We could do a whole episode on the Chinese gaming market.
Yes, we could.
Might be a thing to think about for the future. We have to do a lot of research on that one.
Might be a good extra.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. I'm from. Yeah. I don't know. Mobile's a weird space for me. It's definitely dead for me. I think I have one game on my phone, and it's like Kingdom Rush.
Yeah.
Which has been done 1,000 times, and it's just something there that if I need it, it's there. But like, I don't sit on my phone and game anymore. There's so many other options.
I do use it for some emulation stuff. It definitely helps to have a controller plugged in.
Yeah. Which is why I just play I would emulate on my computer. I would.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, like I was telling you, if your TV was a smart TV and I could cast to it, then I could have paired your Xbox controller and played some games from my phone on your TV. But that wasn't...
Yeah, the Beast... I didn't put the Co-op Entertainment logo behind me.
Oh, no, you're right. You didn't. Oh, no.
I was just looking at it going, it looks different.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Yeah, I forgot. It's been a weird day. It's been a weird couple of days, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very busy.
Yeah, this is the third podcast you've recorded in 24 hours.
Yeah. My brain's a little fried.
Yeah.
It's a little fried, but still having fun. Always having fun. So yes, thank you, Cult2K.
Yes, thank you. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, for sure.
Satisfies your curiosity.
satisfaction. Which brings us to...
Also, if you want to send in questions, listeners, you can send it into co.op.podcast@gmail.com.
You can?
Or you can not if you don't want to.
Oh, I think you should.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah.
And you definitely shouldn't send them to any other email address, because they're going to go, what the fuck is this?
Agreed. All right, let's get into the news. There's a lot to get through. We've got... Let's see.
Full disclosure, I did not watch the Xbox thing because I was in an editing haze today.
That is okay. I have a lot to say about what we saw. So, and you can look up stuff while I'm vamping if you want to.
Yeah, I could.
I'm leaving it for the last part of the news because there's a lot to get through.
Yeah, I don't want to have to mouse through a 45-minute video while you're, while I'm also trying to listen in for when I can contribute my 2 cents. I think I'll just let you talk about it, and I'll give my commentary as I see fit.
That's fair. All right, the first bit of news is not... first of all, we have no one died this week that I'm aware
thank
of.
God.
So there's no
that
deaths
seemed
to report.
Seems like a running theme where somebody always dies, and we have to be like, oh no.
Yeah. No negative news to start off this week, which is really good. More of something that's just funny. Mm-hmm. So we talked last week about Steam now has to fully disclose that you're buying a license.
You are buying a license and not ownership of the game.
So Good Old Games thought it was funny to poke fun. So they posted an image on, I guess, Twitter or X with a picture of like a shop, one of their shopping carts with a bunch of games in it. And at the bottom it says, a purchase of a digital product on GOG grants you its offline installers, which cannot be taken away from you. Mm-hmm. Thought that was very funny.
Yep.
I love GOG, which actually made me go to their website because I hadn't been there in a long time, and they had a really good sale on.
Yeah.
And I picked up 3 or 4 games for $10.
Nice.
I picked up Tavern Master, which I haven't talked about. Well, maybe I'll do that next week. We're already past the what you've been playing section.
Yeah.
Tavern Master, Hexen.
Oh yeah.
Got Hexen for $1.
Yeah.
What else did I get?
Getting that to work online is challenging but doable.
I can't remember what else I got.
We could play Hexen.
We could.
But you can't save a multiplayer game in Hexen, which kind of sucks.
It's not like it's a 70-hour game.
It's longer than a single sitting, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just I've played it a million times, and I always just like enjoy the start of the start of the game. So it's just
but I don't want to play Winnowing Hall 50 times.
I like it. I like just punching the orcs or whatever those things are. The demon
the 2-headed guys, the Ettins.
They remind me of creatures from the Power Rangers movie.
Oh,
the rock monsters that come out of the wall.
Yeah. I see it.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on from GOG. Good old GOG.
Good old games.
Yeah, I kind of fucked that transition up. All right. This one was kind of out of nowhere for me. I hadn't heard about this before, but the creators of Analog Pocket have revealed the Analog 3D, which is a terrible name for this console, by the way. It is a N64 console player.
Yeah, Jesus. They've gone and made a fucking FPGA N64. That must have been a headache.
Yeah. Well, it says it won't support Open FPGA.
Really?
Yeah. It says Analog 3D price, specs, and pre-order date have been revealed. Able to play N64 games in 4K via HDMI, but won't support Open FPGA.
Interesting. But I assume it's still like an FPGA-based design.
I have no idea. Okay. Maybe closed FPGA?
Well, FPGA it's technical, but it's basically you reconfigure the processor to act like a different processor. It's kind of like hardware level emulation instead of software level emulation.
Gotcha.
So it can be really fast, but it's also really complex. And the N64 is not a simple system. It kind of designed ass backwards, which is why developing for it was a pain.
Yeah, it says that they touted as the first true N64 clone console ever made. It has a custom controller designed by 8-Bit Do. We'll be able to play all original N64 game cartridges with 100% compatibility, and will be region free. And it costs $249.99.
Now, here's my question: is it, number one, compatible with the expansion pack? I assume yes.
It doesn't have
Because
a port on it for an expansion pack that I can
oh,
see.
maybe it just has it built in. Maybe it just has the extra
Yeah, I would
memory
assume
built
it would
in.
just be built in with extra RAM.
So here's the next question: does it connect to the 64DD for the small number of people who have those Mario Artist discs or City 64? Because that's part of the N64 library. You need that to say 100%. That's like saying you can do 100% of the Sega Genesis library, but okay, does it do Sega CD and 32X?
Well, it has a full spec sheet at the bottom. I'll go into that when I get to that point, and we'll see what if it mentions anything there. So it says the Analog 3D's biggest selling point is its ability to easily play N64 games in 4K via HDMI, a boon given the messy nature of N64 emulation.
I mean, you can do that with an HDMI mod, but well, is it
natively
actually,
though?
well, is it rendering them natively in 4K, or is it just outputting in 4K?
It's designed with a bespoke, purpose-built 4K upscaler.
Okay, so it's probably rendering them in their original resolution and then blowing them up to 4K.
It says it offers a faithful, lag-free way to re-experience the N64, and will also include original display modes for those seeking a more authentic experience.
Does it say what the price is?
$249.99.
$249. That's not bad. That's like
US.
but that's what the price of the N64 was when it came out.
Yep, and it actually will support the original N64 controllers as well, so you don't have to use their controller.
Analog stuff is usually way more expensive than that, so okay, color me impressed.
Well, there's no screen on it. Keep that in mind. So
sure, but
that's why the Analog Pocket was so expensive.
Yeah, but I mean the Super NT and the Analog NT, the Super Nintendo and the NES clones that they made, they were, well, the one of them was expensive because it had an anodized aluminum shell, which jacks up the price. By
that's just a special edition.
Yeah, $150. But I was gonna say, you could just get the RetroTink 4K, but that thing's like $700, I think.
Oh, good lord! Yeah.
So if all you want to do is 4K N64, this is
maybe it's because the library of N64 games is much smaller. I don't know.
That is true. It
says it's powered by 3D OS, which Analog calls an evolution of Analog OS, featuring N64 specific features. Screenshots show that it will once again support save states, the ability to take screenshots, and other features.
Okay. Yeah, they have a whole front end that you can bring up to adjust. It gets crazy. The Genesis one that they made, you can actually adjust how the sound processor works, because different models of the Genesis had slightly different models of that sound chip. So certain Genesis models have a twangier sound, and some of them have a smoother sound. They let you get really specific with it.
Yeah. It says Analog explained in a statement to IGN that, quote, open FPGA is fundamentally a different approach to a product in many categories. To name a few: design, hardware, philosophy, price. Open FPGA and Analog 3D are two separate concepts. The MSRP we achieved for Analog 3D required a heroic effort.
Okay.
Analog 3D plus the engineering and hardware for Open FPGA included not only is why we designed Analog 3D, but it would cost significantly more. Open FPGA will continue to be fully supported for Analog Pocket, and we're excited to announce more of what we've been working on.
I think what that is allowing you to load different emulation states on there so that you can run games from other systems, basically reconfiguring the processor to be another system on the same processor.
What did they go on to say here? It's important to note Analog 3D is the first and only reimagining of the N64. No one has ever accomplished this. Software emulation has challenges that have never been overcome, from basic compatibility of the entire N64 library to bugs, glitches, sound issues, and so on. Yeah,
N64 has always been weird to emulate.
So here are the specs.
It's gotten pretty good, but it's still not perfect.
It's not perfect. 4K HDMI, NTSC and PAL support, lag-free zero signal degradation, original display modes, so CRT and PVM, and a variable refresh rate for video.
That's good. Okay.
The controller is sold separately. It's not included with the Analog 3D. It's only $39.99 though.
Yeah, which is cheaper than official controllers are.
Yeah.
So
It's compatible with Analog 3D, Switch, Windows, and Android,
ooh.
the controller. So you can actually use it with other platforms, which is nice.
With just the one.
Uh,
Well, does it have 2 analog sticks or 1?
One.
Okay, so that's not going to be
Yeah.
good for much, but
No,
it's
that's true.
accurate.
Yeah, it basically looks like a Wii U Pro controller, but with the C buttons are there,
Okay.
and yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
it's an
I mean,
interesting
that's
design.
fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
The controller also has D input and S input modes. I'm not sure what that means. D input and S input modes.
Yeah. I'm
Something to
not
do with the
sure.
D-pad, the way the D-pad works, maybe.
Well, if it said D input and X input, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's the Microsoft protocols for controller. But S input, I'm not familiar with S input.
Yeah. It has
Who
vibration
knows?
support.
Maybe it's a typo because S and X are right next to each other on the keyboard.
It is IGN, and they have a lot of
Yeah,
typos.
maybe they
Although
just
this was
fucked up.
copy and pasted from Analog, so maybe not.
Maybe Analog fucked up.
Yeah, that's possible. Vibration support for the Switch
Okay.
and Analog 3D. A turbo function and a Hall effect joystick. I'm not sure what the
that's
Hall
good.
effect means.
That is a different type of mechanism for the
okay.
analog stick, and
So it's not the same as the N64 was.
Yeah, so number one, it's not the plastic on plastic that's going to grind it to dust and leave you with a floppy stick after a few years.
Well, I would hate to have a floppy stick.
Yeah, it's terrible. Some might even call it irritating. And it also isn't prone to drift the way that I think current sticks use, like, I don't know if it's like a potentiometer or something, but I mean, we all know about stick drift. It's been a thing.
Which is really funny because every time someone brings up like Joy-Con drift or stick drift, I've never experienced it in my life.
I've had it on both sets of Joy-Cons that I've used.
Really? Man, it's so crazy to me. Yeah.
Yep.
Never ever had
it's
that.
It's weird.
Problem.
It's always been on the left Joy-Con.
Huh. Yeah, I've heard that it's more prominent on the left Joy-Con, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never experienced it on any console ever. It's very strange.
Yeah, well, maybe that's karma because I never had a red ring on my 360, and you did.
Yeah, there you go.
So the universe is paying.
Yeah, I've had red ring 3 times or 2 times, 2 or 3 times. So that's
what else back the other way.
It's also got 2 USB ports used for charging and wired support. SD card slot,
probably for loading games onto.
Well, it has an SD card slot that includes a 16 gigabyte SD card.
Okay, that's for loading games onto.
Yeah. Dual band Wi-Fi, probably for the OS, I guess.
Yeah, for updates to it.
Yeah. The next one is 3DOS updating.
Yeah.
Bluetooth Classic and LE, I guess for
wireless controllers,
headphones and wireless controllers. Yeah. 4 original style controller ports, so it's the N64 controller ports on the front.
Yep.
4
Does
player
the controller
support.
have a spot for the controller pack?
I didn't see one, but the controller pack was basically just the hard drive. So
yeah, but what about the transfer pack for Pokemon Stadium, where you put in your?
I guess that's not. I mean, you can use an N64 controller, so I assume that it'll support that.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but not with the Analog 3D controller. The controller can be updated via Analog 3D system via wire.
Yeah, drivers.
3DS in 4K and something called a 220K LE Intel Cyclone 10GX, which I think is the CPU.
That'll be the CPU.
What comes in the box? The Analog 3D, an HDMI cable, a USB cable, a USB 3 power supply.
Yeah, they're all doing USB 3 or USB-C, which is 3.
Yep. And audio in 48 kilohertz 16-bit PCM.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
That's it.
Sounds like
I of course will not be buying this, but
you have a real N64.
Yeah, I don't have the cables for it though. Maybe I can find them at some point.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't hook up to my TV anyway because the 64 had cable connector, like a coax.
Doesn't it have it has RCA as well? Does your TV not have RCA? Like the red, yellow?
I doubt it.
There's ways around that. There's converters you can get. And cheaper.
But yeah, the analog does have HDMI. So I mean, if you want to have the best N64 experience, it sounds like
if you're super into the N64, then I
I do
this
have
is the way to
N64
go.
games, so
Yeah. Oh
it
yeah.
would be
There's
cool
great
to be able
titles
to.
on it.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
it's not $249.99 US.
Well,
Level of interest for
if
me.
you're hardcore into N64, that's
Yeah,
because that 249 US is worth a lot less than 249 US was back then. So it's actually technically cheaper when you account for inflation.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting thing. Pre-orders begin October 21st, which is
Yeah, I
only
hear
4 days.
website crashed immediately with all the people trying to pre-order,
That's
which
funny.
happens every time they put out a
And they,
new product.
they announce a product, they say pre-orders don't begin until October 21st, and people still go to the website to
Yep,
pre-order it.
yep, yep.
Okay.
I wonder if they're going to do PlayStation.
They brought that up on IGN's next gen console watch show, where they were like, should they do one for Xbox and PlayStation? But I don't think.
I kind of think that emulating PlayStation is easy enough that you could probably
How is this
skip it.
legal, by the way?
Because the patent for the N64 design has long since expired.
So the question is, did the PlayStation?
Patents they last for 20 years.
Oh,
So the PlayStation came out before the N64, so that's long
yeah. So
expired as
PlayStation
well.
1 is up for grabs, I guess.
Yep. PS2
Interesting.
is as well by
Hmm?
this point. PS2 is as well because that came out in 2000.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
When did PS1 come out? 96?
94.
94. But
94
94, really?
In Japan, 94.
Oh, okay, Jesus.
And in North America, 95.
That's still so much earlier than I
Yep.
pictured in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to the next piece of news here. I'm not going to go too deep on this because we could go down a rabbit hole of craziness, and I don't
Sure.
really want to.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you've heard of it already. Pokemon developer Game Freak has suffered a significant hack, resulting in the leak of stolen data.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering when this was going to come up.
Yeah, that includes code names for 10th generation Pokemon games and
Yep.
even the Nintendo Switch 2, as well as code names for various games and TV shows and so on and so forth, including a movie. So I don't want to go too deep on this because I have a slight problem with talking about these things because it sucks for that company.
Yeah.
Like when Insomniac got hacked and their entire like next 15 years got leaked. That sucks.
Yeah.
Like that sucks. Like, can you imagine being there? Like, what a deflating.
Yeah, all the surprises that you wanted to have, and
they're just
all
gone. They're just gone.
Yeah, all the stuff that is half baked or not even. People see it, and it's like, well, it's not even close to being, to being ready to show, but people are seeing it anyway. Yeah,
it sucks.
It's terrible. It's terrible. But on the other hand, I mean, for historical purposes, it's kind of nice to have this stuff out there. Like again,
it's something to look back on in 10 years, kind of a thing. But it's like,
but it's also like when there was that huge Nintendo leak a few years ago, we got fucking uncompressed audio of the voice clips from Star Fox 64.
Yeah,
you know, like
that kind of stuff's cool.
Like incredible that they'd still have that and that it was accessible. Like it's kind of cool. It sucks for Nintendo. It's kind of cool for us in a way, but it sucks for them. And I also, I'm not saying, oh well, I'm just saying, like I can see both sides of the story.
Yeah, for sure.
There's good and there's bad.
Yeah, Game Freak issued a statement confirming the company suffered a data breach in August of 2024. The company said its server was illegally accessed with 2,606 cases of current, former, and contract employee names and email addresses accessed.
Now that sucks. That fucking sucks.
They specifically only say names and email addresses, which is not.
It's not too bad, but it's
not horrendous.
Like now, those people are having like their email addresses exposed to like spam and bullshit,
which they already are anyway. Honestly,
and they already are, but now it's going to be even worse.
Yeah. The Japanese language statement carries a date of October 10th, 2024, and doesn't mention the Pokemon data that has emerged since, which we're not going to go into. At least I'm not going to. It's weird.
Are you talking
And
about the fairy tales that they wrote, the backstories?
yeah, which, given the statement from Game Freak doesn't mention them, I don't. I'm not fully. I don't fully believe them that they're
I
real.
Okay, I will talk about this briefly. All right.
Okay.
So it is not uncommon when you're working on a series, whether it's a video game series or movies or TV shows or whatever, it's not uncommon for you to have these sort of tone setting stories that are written for internal use. Half-Life 2 actually has them, and they even published one of them in the book Raising the Bar. It is a story that is told from Gordon Freeman's perspective. It's not something that actually ends up happening in the game. It does. Alex is in there, but she has a very different personality. It's really just there to give to employees and kind of be like, this is, we want you to read this to try and get in the same mindset that we're in, so we're all on the same page when making this.
But
And that's
and I
all it
get
is.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that totally. But the stuff that they wrote, if
The
it's
stuff that
real, doesn't make sense to me.
Yes. So there is some stuff in there that some people have been kind of grossed out by, because there's multiple stories of Pokemons and humans getting together. And
And this
what
is
I'm
a
talking about.
kid's
Yes, but keep in
IP.
mind a lot of fairy tales are like that. A lot of
Yeah, but
fairy
it's also
tales.
2024.
Yeah.
And most of those fairy tales that you would refer to are like 100 plus years old.
Yes, but
like,
this is what they're inspired by. Like I read the Typhlosion one, and it reminded
yeah.
me a lot of the Snow Woman legend in Japan, which is about what's called a yokai, which is a word that doesn't have an exact English translation, but it's kind of like a magical creature or a spirit or whatever you want to call it, which is about a yokai who takes the form of a human woman, who finds men who are lost in snowstorms, and they seek out the warmth of her home. And depending on the version of the story, she seduces them and then either genuinely falls in love with them or steals their life energy during sex. There's different versions of this stuff, but it kind of reminded me of that. But again, that is supposed to be a legend. That is supposed to be an in-universe Pokemon legend. It's not supposed to be like, yes, a Typhlosion in the past definitely banged this human girl and had half human, half Typhlosion babies. This is a tone setting story that is framed as a fairy tale within the Pokemon universe, which, like, yeah, okay.
Which still doesn't make sense because it's a
Well,
kid's.
it makes sense when this is never supposed to get leaked.
But why? Like, so let's put it this way: if that's their inspiration for what's his name?
Typhlosion.
That's his full name, Typhlosion.
Yeah, it's the final evolution of the second
So far
generation
beyond
starter.
Pokemon.
Dude, it's from Gold and Silver. It's Cyndaquil's final form.
I know. Typhlosion. It's just,
yeah.
Anyway, if that was the inspiration for the character, do you look at that character and get any of those vibes?
Well, no, because Typhlosion is a species. It's a like it's
right.
how it's.
So
it's
why
how, like,
would you? Why was it used as inspiration for this thing if it doesn't evoke that at all?
Well, it's not necessarily inspiration for how Typhlosion is depicted. This is what a legend in the Pokemon world would be. Like how we have our legends in the real world about, like, I mean, think about it. Little Red Riding Hood gets her grandmother.
But
it's not
eaten. But it's not in the game.
It's not in the game, and that's why it's okay. Because they don't actually have a Typhlosion banging a
so
human
what was
girl.
So that's the part that doesn't make sense to me. What was the purpose of writing it to begin with then?
Just to provide some kind of inspiration that might strike somebody as to writing a backstory for Typhlosion, maybe.
But he doesn't have one.
He doesn't have one because they haven't done anything with that yet. They probably looked at that and said, you know what, we probably shouldn't put that in the game. That's probably a bit much. But then, they talk about, like, you go to Lavender Town in the first game, and it's like, oh, well, this is where ghost Pokemon come from. It's the ghosts of dead Pokemon. They come back as ghost type Pokemon. Somebody probably wrote a story about that, and they said, yeah, that's a good idea. We should make that official. And they put it in the game. They're not all going to be winners, okay?
But I mean, there's losers, and then there's like,
yeah. Well, that's why you don't want it leaked.
There's like who wrote that? Like,
I don't know who wrote that.
I know. I'm not asking you. I'm just in general. I'm just like.
No, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense.
Who would write that? I don't know why you would write that, but
and why would it even be kept on file? Like, it's just. It's kind of mind-blowing. I mean, it could be a Japanese culture thing. I don't know.
It might be a cultural thing. They probably maybe they don't find that as objectionable as like a work of fiction. Maybe they're like, well, it's not only is it not real, it's a fairy tale within something that's not real, and we've never released it to the public. So who the fuck cares? Well, people care now that it's leaked.
People care now that it's out there. That's fine.
But they weren't planning on it ever getting leaked.
No, so. and I totally get that. And people shouldn't have to create things and keep things on file that they're afraid will be made public one day. But we do live in 2024. Maybe I think be careful with what you write down.
Sure. I think people are maybe overreacting to it a little bit.
I'm sure this will phase out in like 1 month. It'll be
it's already starting to, like, people had their moment of like Typhlosion memes of like, Typhlosion on fucking To Catch a Predator and Typhlosion's YouTube apology video and all that. They've made their memes. They've had their fun with it, and it's already starting to fizzle out. Yeah. Some people, I think, have taken it a little bit too seriously, but most people, I think, recognize it as just an awkward, weird thing that they just had lying around. Because we don't know how old this is. Like, maybe this wasn't written recently. Maybe this was written around Generation 2, which would have been like almost 25 years ago. Who knows?
Yeah, it is very weird. Very weird.
I wouldn't have written a story like that, but then I also don't work for the Pokemon Company, so.
Yeah,
maybe that's the kind of mindset you have to work there. You have to be open.
That's what I mean, though. It's like is like do the people at like Sesame Street come up with this shit too? Like you know what I mean?
I'm sure the people of Sesame Street have all sorts of vulgar jokes that they would never
write down. You mean? Like
that they would never say on air.
Let's look. Like, who looked at it and went, you know what? We should archive this.
There's footage of Mr. Rogers flipping off the camera, okay?
Yes, there is. But he was also a man,
Yeah, well, like...
But, I mean, I'm a man and I would never write what was in that Typhlosion shit. That was fucked up.
Well, maybe, who knows? Maybe it was somebody who was really young and were like, oh, I'm going to do something disruptive. And actually, to go back to Half-Life, you know what they had at one point? This is also in Raising the Bar. We talked about this, I think. They had an enemy who was going to rape the player.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Mr. Friendly.
One of the creatures. Yeah.
And then at some point in the process, somebody said, you know what?
That's fucking stupid. Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't put that in the game. That might be going a little bit too far. But they still talk about it in the book. They say, we didn't put this in the game, but we did talk about it at one point. And you look at that and you go, what the fuck? You guys were going to have the player get raped? That's fucked up. Yeah, that's why we didn't put it in the game. We know we didn't put it in there. But we did talk about it at one point because
that's the key though for me. Yeah. It's like, why was it even talked about?
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
What idiot came up with that idea? Hey, we should make an alien that rapes you.
Well, I mean, they made a really good horror movie out of that. It's called Alien.
Yeah, I don't even know. My brain's kind of broken from the whole thing.
I mean, the egg opens up and then the thing comes out and rapes your mouth and puts a baby in you, and then it comes out of your chest. And then it grows into an alien that has a head that looks like a penis.
But at least it's raping your mouth.
I mean, I think look, I don't
you know what I mean?
No, I don't. Because it's raping your mouth and then you die. I don't think that's better. I don't think that's at least it's only this. No, I think that's pretty bad. I don't think that's look. I want to go on record here. I want to make this very clear. Don't
I do
rape.
not condone mouth rape.
Don't rape. There is no rape that's like, oh well, that's one's not so bad. Just don't do it. Just don't
This is
do
why I
it.
didn't want to go into this topic.
Yeah, I know.
It's a
But
minefield of death.
we are knee deep in the field at this point. Okay, and I'm trying to get us out of there. Don't rape people.
No.
It's bad.
Don't break the law.
Seriously.
Bad idea.
Also, if you're a Pokemon, don't fuck
Humans.
underage human girls.
All right, let's move on before I cry.
Okay.
Microsoft settles gamers' antitrust lawsuit over $69 billion Activision Blizzard acquisition. As reported by The Wrap, details of the settlement were undisclosed, but we do know the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice, which means it cannot be filed again. Lawyers agreed that each party shall bear their own costs and fees.
Okay.
So, you guys wasted a lot of your time.
Yeah.
The lawsuit was filed back in 2022 in California by a group of gamers from across multiple states who expressed concern about the potential negative impact of a Microsoft monopoly in the video game space.
I mean, it's a legit concern.
It was a legit concern, but they've proven that it's not what they're...
Have they, though?
They're basically...
It remains to be seen.
They've basically admitted to losing the console generation. They're releasing games on every platform.
Yeah.
I'm 90% certain we're not going to get an Xbox console after the next generation. It's like
it's just whenever there's talk of Microsoft and monopolies, I'm like, you should probably keep a closer eye on them because they do have a bit of a track record for that shit.
I mean, they've beat the FTC and now they've beat this antitrust lawsuit. So
yeah, they didn't beat the European Union when it came to bundling Internet Explorer with Windows, which
they did beat them when it came to this acquisition, though.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about another antitrust thing. Although even I thought that was lawsuit was like,
yeah,
whatever. Anyway, point is, yeah, okay, they lost.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, so Xbox is kind of getting out of this whole acquisition unscathed, basically.
Except for the big hole in their pocket.
Except for the big hole in their pocket, but that's their decision,
Should we bring up the Overwatch foot fetish costume thing that I talked about to you the other day?
It's not on my list, but if you want to talk about it.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
No.
Look, we just spent 10 minutes talking about creeper ass Typhlosion Pokemon shit, and I don't want to touch the Overwatch foot thing.
No.
I don't want to.
No. So, yeah, congratulations, Microsoft. You bought a big company and you got away with it. I guess it's the best way of putting it.
I guess.
In other Xbox news, Xbox Game Studios leadership is changing. It will soon be led by Rare studio head Craig Duncan, as current boss Alan Hartman is retiring.
I saw a tweet about this. I saw somebody say, and again, I wish I'd written it down so I could credit them, but like, hey, let's give the reins of Xbox to a guy who hasn't shipped a game in 6 years. Which I think is a little bit harsh because game development takes a while, but like...
Yeah, Rare's a weird company right now.
They're a very strange company.
Sea of Thieves is fantastic, no doubt about it.
Also, another air quotes, rare moment.
Yeah, the new Rare. Again, just another thing where it's like they should change their name.
But a lot of the Donkey Kong Country people are no longer there. They're off at Playtonic or Free Radical or wherever.
It's like 90% new people. Like it's not anywhere near.
I didn't even know if the Stamper Brothers are there anymore.
No. We got a bunch of crap, political statement bullshit from Microsoft and Xbox and Hartman and Craig Duncan and everything. I'm not going to read through it, but we'll see what it leads to.
Yeah.
I can't say that Hartman did a great job because they seem to have an extremely hard time pumping out games.
It's been a weird few years for them.
Very, very, very bad few years. I mean, look at Redfall. What a night! Like, how did that even happen? I still don't know how that happened. You weren't on the show at the time that came out, but me and Bailstorm were just like, how does this game come out and exist? Like
Yeah.
no one looked at this game and went, "This is a pile of trash." Like, you
Conversely,
actually released it?
how does a game like Scalebound, which everyone was super hyped for,
Get
not come
canceled?
out?
Yeah,
I'm
it's a good
still
question.
I'm still upset about that.
Maybe it was a piece of shit. Who knows? It
Oh,
definitely
come
was
on.
very over anime.
Yeah, but
It's
it's a platinum game. That's their bread and butter. It's the Bayonetta people. This is the Okami
I
people,
like toast.
remember? Because fucking Clover. There's a bunch of those people.
Yeah,
So
it's
anyway,
true.
I'm not gonna. I already have I'm already gonna get mad about Mega Man today. I don't need to go into Scalebound.
It's
Spoilers.
fair. Let's move on then. PlayStation. Sony has announced PlayStation: The Concert World Tour, a state-of-the-art production with music from games such as God of War, The Last of Us, Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima, and more. Some details are still hazy, as the PlayStation blog post detailing PlayStation: The Concert and a press release provided have conflicting and seemingly incomplete information, but the World Tour will premiere in April of 2025. The first show will take place in Dublin, Ireland on April 19th,
That's
before
an
shifting to the
interesting,
UK.
weird
For,
choice, but sure, why not?
yeah.
Maybe
Well,
they
Europe
maybe they
is
were
a
like,
pretty big market for
I
PlayStation,
guess.
so I'm assuming that's why they're starting in Europe. Before shifting to the UK for 6 tour dates between April 21st and April 27th, and then we'll head to more than 200 cities across Europe, the United States, and more. I've always wanted to go to like one of these gaming concerts. Like I think, I always wanted to see video games live. I remember that being a
Hmm.
huge thing. Or the Final Fantasy Symphony or the Zelda Symphony,
Yeah.
but just never. They don't seem to come to Canada.
No.
And when they do, they're usually booked in like sold out instantaneously. So
Yeah.
it's hard to get towards these, but doesn't say anything about it coming to Canada. It does say it'll arrive in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Paris, Amiens, France, Brussels, Belgium, Frankfurt, Stuttgart, Berlin, Hamburg, and a million other cities in
Yeah.
Europe. But there's nothing regarding like U.S. states or U.S. cities or
Maybe they don't
Canada.
have lockdown yet.
It says tickets will be available on the PlayStation website as of October 16th, which was 2 days ago. As of this recording. So, yeah. So, that's cool.
Yep.
I'm sure that music would be absolutely fantastic to hear live. This next piece of news is kind of strange. I'm not sure if you heard about this one. Bandai Namco reportedly, not confirmed, and Bandai Namco is, what the hell's the word? Not declining, denying. Jeez, I knew it started with a D. Denying these reports, just so we're clear. But reportedly sending staff to expulsion rooms where they have nothing to do after canceling multiple games.
Jesus Christ! Why do they have to phrase it like that?
Yeah.
Expulsion rooms. What are they
Yeah.
getting thrown out the airlock? Like what the fuck?
So they're basically just rooms with nothing to do in them. That is, I guess they have a name for it in Japan.
Oh yeah. I've heard of this.
Odashi Bea.
We're not
It
going to
basically
fire
puts
you, but
basically you pay them to
we're
do
going to
nothing,
give
and
you
it puts
nothing
pressure
to
on them
do.
to quit.
Yeah.
Because I guess in Japan they're anti. What's the word? But they have strict labor laws basically.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to cut staff.
That would be the worst way to get rid of me. I'd just be like,
yeah,
oh,
for
cool.
you specifically, you'd
All
go
day
nuts.
break. Fuck yeah.
Well, you'd like it.
I'll just kick up my feet and bring out my phone, start shit posting.
If you're allowed to have your phone at work.
What are they gonna do? Stop me? Are they gonna strip search me?
I guess that would just make it easier to fire you. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but they're denying it. They say they have no such thing. They do say that they do have a few employees that are waiting on reassignments to new projects, but that there's no such thing as an expulsion room at Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I don't have much more to say on it other than it is, if it's true, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's very office spacey. You know, trying to not directly fire somebody, just sort of dance around that. It
mm,
probably doesn't end with the building being burned down.
no, definitely. In other layoff-related news, Don't Nod announces layoffs that could impact up to 69 nice
Not nice in
workers.
this case.
No.
It's the
Don't Nod's
only time it's not nice.
no. Don't Nod's ongoing struggles continue with the company announcing it's preparing to implement a reorganization that could result in layoffs of up to 69 employees. The announcement comes with the company's financial results for the first half of the year today, which showed an 11% year-over-year decline in operating revenue. Per the company, the decline is the result of Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, and Jusant not performing as well as expected. Our half-year results for 2024 reflect the economic underperformance of our latest releases, despite solid ratings on Metacritic, as well as the accounting impact of the decisions we had to take. Not sure what that means. The initial performance support measures announced last spring no longer seem sufficient to maintain the company's competitiveness. As a result, today we have presented a reorganization project to the employee representative bodies, which could set Don't Nod on a new development trajectory. I am fully conscious of the impact this project may have.
A new development trajectory.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's some good corpo speak.
yeah. I'm fully conscious of the impact this project may have on all of our employees. Securing our company's resources and restoring its ability to perform more in an increasingly competitive and selective industry is extremely necessary. There was an update. The STJV has issued a statement. Who's STJV? Oh, okay. Let me go back a little bit here. The company has taken some restructuring measures to reduce costs, including pressing pause
Oh.
on 2 unannounced projects. However, this seems to not be enough, as Don't Nod is also expecting to lay off a number of individuals in the coming months. The exact number is still in flux, as Don't Nod management must negotiate with employee union representatives and may implement other measures, such as voluntary redundancy plan.
Oh, it's good that
Notably,
there's a union to negotiate with instead of them just going, boom, gone,
yeah,
all you.
I don't know where Don't Nod hails from. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Notably, earlier this year, the representative French union, so they're probably in France.
Okay, there you go.
La Syndicate de Travailleurs, just a long French name. It's in brackets STJV, so the union, accused the company of mismanagement, claiming employees were facing burnout due to the ongoing reorganization, and that communication, understaffing, and shifting deadlines were endangering the workforce. STJV has issued a statement condemning the layoffs, saying the company broke the law by not providing any information to employees beforehand about today's meeting agenda where the layoffs were announced. The union also accused the company of ignoring workers asking for clearer communication about the state of the company, saying that alarm bells have been ringing for months. The Don't Nod union section, as well as the whole of STJV, cannot tolerate the company rejecting the responsibilities of its own failures on its workers. We warned them long ago, but they ignored us and accused us of being too aggressive to speak with. With this layoffs plan, they are creating an atmosphere of extreme violence.
This is a French company, by the way. I just looked it up. Oh, they're the people who made Remember Me.
Yeah. We are calling on all workers as Don't Nod to mobilize to save their jobs and working conditions. Yeah, I think they're working on Lost Records. And is their next game comes out in February.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't played Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. I've heard it's pretty good. It's definitely like a Don't Nod is very double A.
Oh, of course. They're also the Life is Strange developers.
Yeah.
That's where I've heard the name before.
Yeah, the Lost Records game is very similar to that series. But Banishers didn't sell well, but it's apparently not bad. And I did play Jusant, though, because it was on Game Pass, which kind of confuses me a little bit, saying that Jusant didn't perform as well as expected, because it was on Game Pass. So didn't you get a good payout for that?
Well, you would hope, but maybe not good enough.
Apparently. But yeah, I highly recommend Jusant for those who have not played it. I don't know if it's still on Game Pass, but if it is, go play it. It is very cool. It's like a indie type game where you're this woman who's climbing this giant tower in the middle of a desert. And it's basically a rock climbing simulator, basically.
Oh yeah, I think you talked about this
Yeah,
before.
so you have to like move the stick to move your arms and
Yeah,
climb,
yeah,
and you have to
yeah,
hold on with the triggers, and
yeah.
you constantly have to think. And it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous game, gorgeous ending. I took several screenshots of it and posted them on Twitter back in the day when I played it. So yeah, it's fantastic. It sucks that it didn't perform well. I do plan on buying Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, but I think it was too highly priced for a double A game. It's not full price, but it's like Canadian. I think it's like $67.99 or something like that. So
Mm,
it's high.
yeah.
I think it's on sale right now for 40% off or something like that. But it's still, I don't know. I don't know. I can't pull the trigger on it when there's so many other games to pull the trigger on. But I do want to play it. So I do want to support them. Cool developer. So that sucks.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything works out there for them.
Yes.
Xbox has announced the next wave of Game Pass games for October. So we've got starting with October 16th, so this one's already out. For cloud, console, and PC, South Park: The Fractured But Whole. I never played that
Yeah,
one.
I haven't played that one.
I played the first one. Oh, Stick of Truth.
Wait, hold on. It's in your library. I saw it when I was over there
Yeah, I know. I
yesterday.
own it. I never played it though. It was one of those games where I was like, I never beat the first one, so but I enjoyed the beginning of the
Yeah.
first one, so I bought the sequel thinking I was going to play the rest of Stick of Truth and then move on to Fractured Butthole, but it's never happened. I'm
Yeah,
not a
Stick of
South
Truth
Park
was.
fan, but I did,
Yeah, it
you know,
definitely helps to be a fan
yeah,
of the show. When I played Stick of Truth, I hadn't seen the show in a long time, but I was like, oh, I wonder what South Park is up to. I wonder what they're doing. And I watched some of it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll play Stick of Truth. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's fun. I didn't really
yeah,
feel the need to do another one.
yeah, exactly.
So which is
Yeah,
why
I
I
think
think it's
Fractured
more for.
Butthole sold really poorly, if I remember correctly.
Well, it's not doing well is the one that just came out this year, the Snow Day one.
Oh yeah, that did really bad. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, guess what? When you make a South Park game that's like playing a South Park episode, it gets much more critical acclaim than just a shitty like third person shooter.
it's true. Coming out on October 17th, which is also out on cloud, console, and PC, is Donut County. That's a weird
Oh
game.
yeah,
It's one
yeah,
where you
I've
make
heard of that
holes
one.
to swallow up things.
I'm gonna try to be very mature about this,
Yeah,
but it's gonna be tough.
it's very strange.
I'm a grown man.
Also came out on October 17th, so it's out as of now, is MechWarrior 5 Clans for cloud, PC, and Xbox Series
Mm-hmm.
X and S. I have it loaded on my Xbox, so hopefully I'll be able to talk about it next week.
Okay,
We'll
I'd
see.
love to hear about it.
Yeah. October 25th, Black Ops 6 comes to cloud, PC, and console. Only available on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass.
Oh yeah, that's the new one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will not come to the basic Game Pass, so you need the Game Pass Ultimate. Modern Warfare 3 comes to cloud on October 25th.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Is I want to stream a fast-paced first-person shooter.
Right. Warzone also comes to cloud on October 25th.
Oh, great! I want to stream a competitive first-person
A
shooter.
multiplayer only game.
Yeah, with all the sweat lords who play it constantly. Yeah, I'll do great.
It's hard enough to play it when you're natively
Yeah.
running it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Coming on October 29th is Ashen to cloud, console, and PC.
See, this is okay. This is gonna get weird, but when I think of Ashen, I think of a first-person shooter on the N gauge.
Mm. Yeah, no, this is the Sifu prequel game,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Something like that. Dead Island 2 comes to PC on October 31st. And StarCraft Remastered.
To PlayStation? Weren't you talking about that like last week?
Dead Island 2 is on PlayStation Plus now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess they're making a push for that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's only coming to PC on Xbox. It's a little weird.
Is it already on console Game Pass?
Yes,
Oh, well, that'd be why then.
on PlayStation. I don't think
So
it's on Xbox Game
it's not on
Pass.
Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah,
It's on Xbox PC Game Pass.
as of October 31st. Yeah,
Odd.
yeah, very strange. StarCraft Remastered and StarCraft 2 Campaign Collection coming to PC on November 5th.
All right.
Why they consider that a part of the October 2024 Wave 2, I'm not sure. But sure.
That StarCraft Remastered looks really, really nice. Like
It didn't get
visually.
great reviews when it came out, but maybe they've ironed that out.
Really? It's StarCraft.
Yeah, they redid a lot of the assets visually, and I guess a
Yeah.
lot of people weren't happy with some of them. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's compared to like a 640 by 480 upscale. Like,
Hey, I didn't play it, so I can't
okay.
I can't say for sure. But I just remember hearing about that. It was a while ago. Remastered's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Leaving Xbox Game Pass on October 31st is Frog Detective. Don't know. Headbangers. Don't know. What the hell? Inkulinati.
Don't know it.
Don't know. Lonely Mountains Downhill and Minako's Night Market are all leaving Game Pass. Nothing to write home about it, I don't think. That being said, moving over to PlayStation and what's leaving PlayStation Plus this month, or technically next month,
Is there something killer leaving?
A lot of killer things are leaving.
Oh no.
So the list of games leaving in November 2024 are as follows. Something's going on with PlayStation Plus. Either whoever's making the contracts for how long these games are on or is not paying attention to when they're expiring, and like, you know what I mean? Like they're not
making sure that they have good overlap. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not realizing how many games are leaving on each month. So the list is as follows: GTA San Andreas Definitive Edition.
Well, did they ever fix that or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They have since fixed the collection games. Yeah.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2. The Sims 4.
That's more Dragon's of a PC Dogma thing. Sims is more of a PC thing.
Yeah, it is. Dragon's Dogma. Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme versus Maxa Boost.
Okay, there's like a million Gundam games.
Superliminal, a great game. You should play that. Ayuden Chronicle Rising. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series. Sorry.
The STD game.
Yes, the STD game. Got a bad case of the Klonoa. Teardown.
Oh, that just got updated too.
Yeah, right?
They just got new stuff.
Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remix. Don't get me started on Kingdom Hearts. I will slice people in half.
I hope somebody wasn't in the middle of playing that.
Yeah, right? Well, it gets worse. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue.
Fuck.
Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Chorus, which I highly recommend you play Chorus. If
Super
anyone likes
Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Prologue Turbo Championship Edition.
Yeah,
HD
terrible.
remix.
Kingdom Hearts is just a fucked up franchise. I'm sorry. Yeah, definitely play Chorus. I think I've mentioned it on the show.
Don't let the Kingdom
before.
Hearts fans hear you say that. There's a lot
Sorry,
of
Kingdom Hearts fans, but Kingdom Hearts is fucking weird.
They'll agree with that. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they do.
They know it's weird. That's why they like it.
They're self-aware. Okay, good. Be self-aware, please. Yeah, go play Chorus if you like space shooters. Chorus is amazing, absolutely fantastic. What Remains of Edith Finch? Overcooked 2. Blasphemous. And moving out.
That's that side-scrolling like Dark Souls style game.
Dark Souls like. Yeah. So a total of 14 games are joining the library, and then however many this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 games are leaving.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Plus they already pulled Horizon.
Yeah.
Because of the remaster coming out.
And that's
and
really cheap.
and then they pulled Little Big Planet 3 as well. So technically, it's 19.
Well, yeah, but they're shutting down the services for that, so
Yeah, but you can still play it single player and create
yeah,
your own levels and stuff still.
and
But
share them with nobody.
so yeah, PlayStation Plus is it's getting kind of weak. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're doing over there. All right, let's get into the Xbox partner preview.
Oh,
Uh, yeah.
before we do that, there was actually I didn't bring this up because I thought you were going to cover it. There was one bit of news that was kind of weird. Um, Nobuo Uematsu, who's the composer primarily for the Final Fantasy series, but has worked on lots of games, is working on Fantasian, the new Mistwalker game from Hironobu Sakaguchi. Uh, he put out a statement, and the translation made it sound like he was retiring from video game composition. And I guess the translation was inaccurate because then he put out a statement later that day saying, "Whoa, hold on, let me clarify. I am stepping down from sole composition duties for games, so I'm not going to do the entire soundtrack for a game
So
anymore.
he's lightening his load.
Yeah, but I will continue to contribute to soundtracks as long as I'm not doing the whole thing myself." Because I mean, he like even though like at his age and like these guys are getting on because they've been doing this stuff since the '80s. Um, he's still doing a lot of work. He's touring. He's putting on concerts like he said, the Final Fantasy concerts. He's doing other musical projects. So it's probably now that at his age that is starting to catch up with him. So he's saying, "Yeah, lighten my load. I will still contribute to games. I just won't be the only person doing the whole album." And frankly, I'm surprised that this is not an announcement he made years ago. Because like, if you look at Final Fantasy IX, which he was the sole composer for, there's like 100 tracks on that soundtrack. That game
Mm-hmm.
is stuffed, and that's a single player game.
Yeah,
So I'd say this is long overdue. The dude deserves some fucking time off, like with
agreed.
for all the work that he's put in.
Clearly, he's
But
enjoyed it though.
oh yeah, of course, like
Yeah,
he seems to be having a ball. Good for him. But yeah, so he's not retiring from video game composition completely. He's just
good.
not doing entire games on his own anymore. Totally fine.
Totally
Totally
fine with me.
understandable.
Yeah, 100%
So I just wanted to throw that in there.
for sure.
Right. And you were about to talk about the Microsoft show.
Yep, the Xbox partner preview. So we're just going to go through each thing individually here, starting
Yeah.
with this was not in order, by the way. This is just
No, just go with whatever.
the way I've got. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, which was revealed back in June, got a new gameplay trailer that showed off a lot of action and new elements of the game.
Cool.
Um,
That's going to be my response to a lot of this because, like I said, I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to try and
it
nice through the
kind
video.
of it kind of looks like Black Myth Wukong, but you're a woman, like a human woman.
Well, it sounds like it's another game based on Chinese mythology, so it's probably going to have some similarities.
Yeah. It's coming sometime in 2025 to Xbox Series and PC, and it's going to be available on Game Pass, which is great because I'll be able to play it and see how it is.
Yeah.
They showed off more of Alan Wake 2's The Lake House DLC.
Yes.
Which is coming out in 4 days, October 22nd.
Shit, I still need to fucking play the base game.
Yeah, I have played, like I said, I played an hour of the base game, and it's so
I'm
good.
so fucking far behind.
It's so good. Can't wait.
I still gotta play Baldur's Gate. I gotta play Final Fantasy 16, the full game. I gotta. Oh god.
Well, this
Not
one
enough
might
money.
be surprising to you then.
Really?
Alongside the Alan Wake 2 DLC trailer, we got our first look at FBC Firebreak.
Oh
which
yeah,
is
I heard about that.
a 3-player co-op game set in the universe of Control and Alan Wake.
Yeah. Is Quantum Break part of that continuity as well? I forget.
Not that has been revealed so far.
Okay.
Yeah. The game's coming to Xbox Series, PC, and Game Pass in 2025. It doesn't look that good to me, honestly. It doesn't even look like Control to me. It looks like they took the idea of Control, made it a first-person shooter, 3-player co-op, and like I don't know. I don't get it. And it's Remedy's first multiplayer game, so
We'll see.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. I wasn't impressed by it though. It didn't do anything for me. Hope it does well though.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's co-op and not
Competitive.
competitive.
That would with like, does it have like the telekinetic powers and stuff?
No, I think you're playing the dudes. Like you're playing basically like the squad that goes in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to like
Because that would
eliminate
be.
the
Oh,
beings.
actually, you know what? That reminds me. I meant to mention this earlier. 19th anniversary of Fear is today. Talking about
Fear?
squad. Talking about squads of dudes going into places where shit's all fucked up.
How did you
That
figure that out?
How did I figure that out? Because
Yeah.
somebody said it on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Because I was just like, who tracks the anniversary of Fear?
I just saw it and I was like, oh yeah, I should bring that up.
Great game. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the other game I bought on GOG.
Go to games. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
First Encounter Assault Recon, I believe is what it stands for.
Yeah.
The most like struggling acronym.
Yeah.
Like somebody's clawing out from the depths trying to make that work.
Should have just called it Fear and just left it at Fear. You know.
Yeah. But maybe you can't trademark Fear. Maybe it has to be an acronym for you to trademark it.
Maybe. This one was interesting. Following the success of Silent Hill 2 Remake, Bloober Team revealed a new game already.
Oh.
A sci-fi horror game titled Chronos: The New Dawn.
It's not Dead Space 2 Remake?
No. Yeah, it's its own new IP. It looks... So it's a so it looks very similar to like Dead Space or...
Well, I mean, if
Resident
you have a
Evil
third-person horror game in space, then yeah, it's naturally going to.
I don't know if it's in space.
Sci-fi.
But the trailer is creepy. You play this. I don't know if it's a dude. It's someone in a big suit that's not transparent, so you can't see in it. You almost look like a Big Daddy from BioShock.
Okay, I got there, but it took me half a second. I was like, look like a what now?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, right, Big Daddy, right.
Yeah, Big Daddy. Like
this isn't like a fetish thing.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
it might be for some people. I don't know.
You got like a dome head.
Yeah.
You can't see through it, so you don't know what's underneath it, and then his suit kind of looks like a space suit. And then he's playing chess with, I say he, but whoever this thing is in the suit is playing chess with this like old granny.
Yeah.
And his hand is covered in blood, so when he's picking up and moving the chess pieces are getting all bloody from his face.
Apropos of nothing, but I wonder what's going on with Pragmata. Because this feels like the kind of imagery you'd see in Pragmata.
Oh no, this is much more horror vibes. And then he like she beats him in chess. He pulls down his king, and then he starts to reach out towards her, and like out of his like wrists or his hand on the suit. Like remember, it's a suit, right? So you can't see his skin or anything. And again, I don't know if it's he, but like these like tentacle wires, like these electrical wires, start to come out, and she screams as he reaches towards her, and then it cuts.
Go. Bad sore loser.
Yeah.
Let the rookie win.
It's very intriguing. Coming out in 2025 for PC and Xbox. Highly recommend taking a look at the trailer.
Don't play chess with the weird spaceman person.
Yeah. And also there was like imagery of like humanoid creatures.
Sure.
I don't know.
Body horror stuff. Cronenberg's.
Yeah. Looks interesting. We'll see what they do.
Yeah.
I don't really want to. I don't have anything to say about it, but we got another trailer for the pirate Yakuza game.
Oh yeah.
Which is just bizarre.
Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Which is, I believe, the exact title.
Yes,
which I love.
Yeah. I've never been able to get into the Yakuza series, so I can't really.
I look at those games and I'm like, I'd like to play them, but I know that if I do, I'll get sucked in.
Yeah, they're very long and very.
Oh
deep.
God, I'll never be able to stop.
Yeah, they reveal that there is naval combat in the game.
Oh boy.
So.
I wonder if they'll find a way to make that homoerotic. I'm sure they will.
Well. You should watch the trailer. I'll just say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've already gotten there.
Yeah. Well, the final, like, you know how like all these trailers now have like a splash screen at the end that has the logo and
and then a little stinger.
Yeah. He's just watch it.
Yeah. Okay.
It did come with a release date, February 21st, 2025, so not too far away.
Okay.
Uh, quick one here: Animal Well Shadow dropped on Xbox.
Okay.
I couldn't get into the game. I played it. It came out on PlayStation Plus, I think, so I've played it, but didn't do anything for me. Another Shadow Shadow Jappin. Another Shadow drop. Blindfire enters early access today for Xbox Series and PC. It's basically a team shooter with dudes in colorful neon hoodies.
Okay.
And I guess the idea of the game is that you're in it's like an arena shooter, but there's no lights, so the only thing you can see is like the edges of the environment, and then the players pop up very clearly.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
I didn't.
so it's kind of like going to laser tag.
Yeah,
Do they
but
fill the arena with so much smoke that you have trouble breathing?
no.
Because that's been my experience with laser
Yeah.
tag.
It was very odd. I like the idea better than I liked the trailer. The trailer didn't give me enough to go off of it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. They also announced Mouse PI for Hire coming in 2025. Has a what is it?
So
Steamboat Willie
you could say that
aesthetic.
this game is one where you play as a great mouse detective.
Sure, it's one of my favorite Disney movies.
I didn't see that in your VHS library, which I'm now realizing is what I can see over there. I couldn't identify what those boxes were, but now that I've been in that room,
Yeah, I don't know why it's not in there. It must
Disney
be around here somewhere.
VHS stack.
I have every Disney movie on VHS, so I don't know where that is. It must be here somewhere. Yeah, it's a first person shooter that's in the style of Steamboat Willie cartoon. Yeah. Where you're playing a mouse detective. It was very strange because they did highlight the idea of you doing like investigations and stuff, like taking pictures of stuff and being detective, but like 90% of the trailer was just shooting.
So it's like kind of like Mouse Condemned.
It was more shootery than that, though.
Well, yeah, replace the bludgeoning people with loose pipes and change it out with guns.
Yeah.
Use a UV light occasionally to find blood spatters, and then you beat on homeless people.
Yeah, I wasn't sold on this one either.
Delightful game.
Yeah, very dark game. Coming to Xbox Series and PC in 2025. The next one I didn't really get a chance to watch. Something was distracting me at the time that I was watching this, but The Legend of Babu was announced. Coming in 2025. You play as both the young protagonist Saphir and his dog Babu. Comes to Xbox and PC next year, 2025. It looks like a third-person open-world adventure game. I didn't get enough from it, so it's something I'll have to rewatch.
All right.
But kind of cool that you control two characters. I always like that in games. Well, not always. I didn't like that game. What was it, Brothers?
Oh, it's one of those. It's not.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Look, games where you can play as a guy and then as a dog. Secret of Evermore could be a good sign.
Yeah,
we both like Secret of Evermore.
As long as you're not controlling them at the same time, like in Brothers.
Yeah.
One on each joystick. I hated that crap. I'm like, I'm not ambidextrous, guys. I can't do that shit. Some generic anime game called Eden Zero coming in 2025. Says it's based on the manga from Hiro Mashima, author of Fairy Tail and Rave Master.
Okay.
I've seen maybe 47,382 different anime games in the last year advertised at these events. So
yeah, well, it's popular in Japan. So what do you expect?
Yeah,
it's like World War II games here. Remember how
we haven't had a World War II game in years?
Yeah,
now.
But do you remember how it used to be?
Yeah,
there were like 10 every year.
Yeah, but like all these anime games look the same. They're all the same cel shaded art style. They're all the same.
All the World War II games look the same.
Mm.
That's their equivalent of World War II games, except you know what? I'm going to stop with this analogy right now because I just realized something.
You're comparing them
Oops.
to a genocide type game.
Yeah,
Or
and
Nazis.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's
Maybe
not. Yeah.
maybe I should go down a different
Quit while
route.
you're
But
ahead.
yeah, you know what I mean though.
Yeah. Yeah. I just none of these games stand out for me, so I just whatever. Yeah.
And yet you love
Um.
Persona, which is like the most anime game of all time.
I wouldn't. So I have people tell me that a lot because I talk about how much I love Persona 4, but it's specifically Persona 4 that I love. I haven't.
I mean, you
I
have
tried
that
to play
Persona 5
3.
Steelbook.
Yeah. Well, that's only because I pre-ordered the game when it came out. That just came with it. That was back in the day when any game you pre-ordered from Best Buy, you would get a steelbook with. That's where I ordered all my games back then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I never beat Persona 5. I don't even think I got like more than 5 hours into it. Like, I'm not a big Persona fan. I just love Persona 4 Golden. I had a great time with it. We'll see if I like Metaphor. I'll give it a try. But anyway, Eden Zero coming in 2025 to Xbox Series and PC. We got a new trailer for Eternal Strands, an upcoming action game that heavily features nature elements. You fight with fire, ice, a giant sword, use wind, and it reminds me of like a third person action version of like Magica. Remember Magica?
Yeah,
Where
we
you
should
like
play that.
combined the
Yeah.
elements to
Mm-hmm.
do different moves. So like they in the trailer there was one where she created like this ball of wind that was pushing forward and then used fire and threw it on the ball and it became this like rotating ball of fire that didn't move, but as it was rotating it was throwing flames ahead of it.
Yeah.
um
Okay.
and all the elements do different things to enemies, so burning
Mm-hmm.
will like burn flammable material off of the enemies. Ice will weigh them down. So like if you put ice on a bird when on its wing, it won't be able to fly.
No,
That kind of stuff.
so it's not like Metroid where if you use the ice beam on something, it'll just hang in midair and you can
No,
use it as a platform.
no, yeah, not that kind of game. Yeah, it seems like a mix between Magica meets Shadow of the Colossus because you're fighting those like big enemies.
Sure.
Looks really cool. Coming sometime in early 2025 to Xbox Series PC and is coming to Game Pass, so I will be able to play that, which is nice. Next was Mistfall Hunter, which
That's
looks like
three words thrown together.
it's another Souls-like. So
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what more to say about it. Coming to Xbox Series and PC in 2025. Wheel World announced for early 2025 a new bicycle racing game that will be coming to Game Pass next year. Has a really cool, they call it a cartoony art style, but it kind of looks like. Do you remember that game Sable?
No.
No, it's very like a muted color, cell shaded palette type game, and very minimalistic type visuals. Um, but you can customize your bike, you race through the lands, you can do tricks. It seems kind of semi-open world. It almost looks like a Burnout Paradise on bikes with like a cartoon art style. So it looks kind of cool. And it comes to Game Pass, so another game that I'll be able to play, which is really cool. Finally coming to console, although I'm not sure if it's coming to PlayStation as well, but it is coming to Xbox. Phasmophobia, the popular online co-op game, is officially coming to Xbox consoles.
That's the ghost hunting game, right?
Yeah, where four of you go into the house or the building, and you have to figure out what kind of ghost is haunting the building. And the longer you're in there, the lower your sanity meter gets, and then eventually the ghost can kill you. Yeah, I've always wanted to play that game, so I'm hoping I'll be able to play that. I'm hoping it has like matchmaking, so I'll be able to play it on Xbox, but we'll see. I think on PC it requires you to invite only type thing. They may have changed it since, but that's why I never bought it on PC.
Yeah, I've never played it.
No, but it's not a long wait. Comes out on October 29th, just in time for Halloween.
Yeah, it'd be really stupid if it came out after Halloween.
Yeah, for sure. And finally, the biggest announcement for me personally, the sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, announced for early access, which I'm not a big fan of, but announced for early access in 2025. Subnautica 2 got a teaser trailer and revealed that it takes place entirely on a new planet and features co-op. And I am salivating to get a hold of that game. Whether I will play it in early access or wait till full release, I'll probably wait till full release, I'll be honest. I might pop in. Well, it doesn't say it's on Game Pass. Oh, it is on Game Pass, yeah. So I'll probably pop in and play it and then be like, all right, I got my fill. I'll wait till it's done.
Did the first one not have multiplayer?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope. Yeah, that's what was missing from that game, because there was Subnautica, and there was Subnautica Below Zero, which was like a standalone DLC kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But man, Subnautica 1 is just legendary. It is, in my opinion, the best survival game of all time. It's so good. It's so good. So I'm really hoping that they knock this one out of the park, because I've been waiting. Below Zero was good as well, but it was a much smaller experience, much shorter, and it wasn't nearly as scary as the first game. So cannot wait for Subnautica 2. Cannot wait. And that was the Xbox partner preview.
All right.
Which means it's time. Let me reset everything here. It's time for the topic of the week, which this week is all about game sequels that we want to see.
Yes.
And we've each picked 5.
Yep. Let me grab that file.
For the first time, I don't have a 6th or 7th. So I only have 5. Would you like to go first, sir?
Yeah, I might as well just get it out of the way. Mega Man Legends 3.
Here we go. Strap in for a rant, ladies and gentlemen.
I just oh my god. So they were making it. There were screenshots. I believe there were screenshots. There was there was a whole lot of shit. All right, they were getting involved with like the fans. They had a whole community thing set up. They were getting people to vote on like which costume do you prefer for this character, like which one do you think looks cooler, and then that would be the one they'd use in the game. And then it's dead. Like, how do you?
Well, I mean, we know why it died, because there was that like poor relationship that Capcom had with what's his name?
Like
Inafune, I think.
It's so fucked that you would first of all, you would announce a sequel to a game that people have been waiting years for a sequel to, Ubisoft, and then you would try to get the fans involved with the direction of that game, Ubisoft, and then you would just nope, it's gone.
Just delete it. Yeah.
Although I will say, unlike Ubisoft, Capcom has at least had the balls to say yes, it's dead. So I guess there's that. But like I fucking loved Mega Man Legends. I love that fucking game so much.
It's good.
And Mega Man Legends 2, I like a lot as well. I haven't played it nearly as much as the first one, but I like it a lot. And sure. I wanted a third one so badly. And
well, I mean, Capcom said recently that they're reevaluating what to do with the Mega Man franchise, so maybe or maybe a spiritual sequel, maybe not.
I'm not going to get my hopes up.
No, for sure.
But man, I just how do I express the frustration in words? I don't know. I think the disdainful sigh I just gave is probably the best way to do it. It fucking sucks, and it frustrates the hell out of me.
It's probably equal to or as bad as not getting Half-Life 3 for me.
Yeah.
It's like you never finished the story. It's like, why? There's no reason. So
yeah.
I don't blame you on that one. Definitely make Legends 3. My first one. Let's see. Should I go with the oldest?
Do
Yeah, let's go with
whatever.
the oldest. I want an actual sequel to Super Mario RPG. The
Yeah.
fact that that is the only game that we have Mallow and Geno
Mm-hmm.
and the Axum Rangers
Mm-hmm.
is sad. I'm glad
Yeah,
it got a
I
remake, so maybe they're testing the grounds. Maybe if that sold well enough, they'll make an actual sequel.
yeah.
But yeah, I want a sequel badly.
Yeah, that really got me back in the day because they announced Paper Mario as Super Mario RPG 2. And it's
Mm.
like, oh my god, I fucking love Mario RPG. And then it comes out as Paper Mario. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird, but maybe it's good. And then I played it. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't
Paper
like
Mario
this
2 was good.
at all. I didn't like any of them. I
No,
just, no.
Thousand Year Door is fantastic. That's another remake that I want to revisit. Although I think you said it was 30 frames per second, which is weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't like the way that Paper Mario played. It was like, let's dumb the RPG formula down to its most basic elements, which
yeah. Well, that was when
like
Nintendo was doing that for like everything.
I can kind of see the logic behind it, but I already felt like Mario RPG was a great beginner's RPG because it was the game that got me into RPGs, and so I was looking for something at least that advanced, air quotes advanced, and they somehow made it even simpler to the point where it like, why even have damage numbers? Why even show how much damage you did? It's always one. Except maybe sometimes you get a timed hit, and now it's two. Oh, like I just
Yeah, in comparison to Super Mario RPG, the Paper Mario one especially is
yeah.
not a
And like
significant enough sequel.
I know there are people who really love Paper Mario. That's fine. You got more games than I did, and I do appreciate the humor of the Paper Mario games, like actually
Yeah,
playing with
they're very funny,
the paper idea, like Mario turns sideways and basically becomes invisible,
and it has
or
good
he gets
characters as well.
yeah, and he gets hit and he like flutters down like a piece of paper. Okay, yeah, that's cute. That's funny. That's great. I want the RPG mechanics to be more than just, 1 - 1 - 1 - 1 until a
Yeah, and
boss with 10 HP is dead.
I loved the isometric view of
Yeah.
Super Mario RPG, and the music was fantastic in Super Mario RPG.
Oh,
And like I
music's
said,
incredible.
Mallow and Geno not being ever made in another game really sucks. So let's bring it back, guys.
Hmm.
What's your next one?
My next one. So, this is a game that I've already talked about before, but I'm gonna use it again because why the fuck not? Mischief Makers.
Yeah,
I could play another one of those.
yeah, for sure.
You know, I think that would look really good with like modern HD resolutions. You could do really
I'm
high
surprised
quality
there hasn't
art.
been like an indie spiritual sequel.
Yeah, right. It seems like that would be a prime target for one of those,
Yeah,
but it's just never happened.
yeah.
Um, I know that Treasure doesn't usually do like a lot of sequel stuff, which okay is
What was the
fine.
last game they made?
Um, I don't recall off the top of my head.
Are they just called Treasure Studios?
Um, let me
I'll
look
look
up.
it up. You vamp.
Um, well, I mean that's basically all I had to say about it was that
Okay.
geez, I'd like to play another one. As
The
for
last
what?
significant game they made was Sin and Punishment on the Wii.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah,
That
the
was
last
that
game they
was.
made was in 2014. So I don't know if they closed.
Well, as it says here that on its 30th anniversary, they were
Oh yeah,
announced they were working on a highly requested game, but it does look like a pretty small studio.
yeah. They had less than 10 staff.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh,
So
they were the Ikaruga guys.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
and Radiant Silvergun,
Gradius. Yeah.
Dynamite
Interesting.
Heady. Remember Dynamite Heady?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Interesting. How did they survive for 10 years without releasing a game?
Well, probably. It says here that they did make a bunch of licensed games.
Did it?
So
They just didn't list them.
Well, they list them here on the Wikipedia page.
But it stops at 2014.
Because they were re-releasing their back catalog. Remember, they put out Ikaruga on Xbox Live, and they put it out on Steam and Radiant Silvergun as well.
So they survived for 10 years on just re-releases. Ooh. Okay.
I mean, if you've only got,
no wonder they only have less than 10 staff.
Yeah, but if you only got that many, that's probably enough.
That's fair. All right. My next one, I'll go with a modern one. Okay. Did you ever play Moonlighter?
No.
I may have mentioned it on the show before. It's an indie title. It's probably not too old, maybe 5-10 years. But it's basically kind of a Zelda-like in terms of it's part dungeon crawler. So you're just going through dungeons that are randomly generated, collecting resources, and then when you are done the dungeon, or whether you decide to go back early to avoid getting killed, you go back and then you set up a shop where you sell all the items.
Oh, yeah. And I said this reminds me of Reset here.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we did talk about it. I thought we talked about it. So yeah, I would love a sequel to Moonlighter. It's absolutely a fantastic game, and I would love to see them expand on that idea. Let me look up real quick who made Moonlighter Studios. Digital Sun was the developer. What are they making
Is that the precursor to Digital Eclipse?
No.
Yeah, they need to merge with Digital Moon to make Digital Eclipse.
Oh, these are the guys that made Cataclysmo. That just came out, I think, recently, which is an RTS about building and defending.
Okay.
It wasn't that great for me, but they also made the Mage Seeker, which was the League of Legends game.
Okay.
So yeah, Moonlighter 2, give it to me. They did DLC for it, so clearly it sold well enough. I don't know why they haven't doubled down on that yet.
Okay. My next one is one that I know we're both big fans of. Gauntlet, and specifically Gauntlet Legends. Love that game.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Gauntlet
was owned by Midway, right?
Well, it was Atari, and then Midway made Legends. And then, careful with that mic. And then now, I guess the current iteration of Atari, which is actually Infogrames, probably owns the IP. They did something. There was a game in 2014 that they made. I forget what it was called. But specifically Gauntlet Legends. I loved that style of it.
There was a game called Gauntlet in 2014.
It was just Gauntlet.
Just Gauntlet, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that game. It was really fun.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Gauntlet likes, but Gauntlet was always the one who did it better for sure. I don't know who owns Gauntlet now. Maybe Atari took it back once Midway went under.
Yeah.
Oh, THQ bought the studio rights to it, but then THQ went under. But then THQ was revived by Embracer, so maybe Embracer's got it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oof. Oh no!
That might explain why we haven't seen anything from it.
Yeah.
Bummer. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Definitely bring back Gauntlet, or just Gauntlet games in general, like brawlers like that. My next one, let's go with L.A. Noire.
Oh, okay.
The detective game with some weird facial capture stuff.
Yeah.
That hasn't aged very well, but the game itself is still really cool. It's a realistic detective game with a through line story. I'm not going to say it was an amazing, 9 out of 10 type game. I'd probably give it an 8.
The narrative structure of that game is a little weird because you just kind of jump from case to case to case. It's a little unceremonious. It's very linear. There's not a lot of in the office between each level. You talk to people and then sort of frame up for the next case. It just kind of jumps from one to the next.
Yeah, that's why I think it's prime for the sequel treatment, because so many sequels are better than the original because they set the foundation with the first game, and then they're like,
Yeah.
how could we have done each of these things better? And then they
How
just
do
do
we
them
make this
better.
flow better?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would love to see what they could do with a
Yeah.
sequel to LA Noire. But given the studio shutdown, I don't think we're gonna get
Didn't
an
that
LA
game
Noire.
do really well though?
It did, but the studio ended up being like mired in controversy because of like really poor treatment of its employees and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
they were like one of the first studios that had that come out to the public, and it was like a
Ah,
really big issue.
okay. So
Yeah,
they kind of took it full force.
yeah, they took it
Yeah.
really bad. Let me see who made that LA Noir studio. Team Bondi,
Okay.
which was under the Rockstar brand, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And were they shut? They were shut down. A successor to Team Bondi was created called Intuitive Game Studios.
What have they done?
What happened to them? Intuitive Game
Or are they
Studios.
just being like a support studio for Rockstar or something?
Well, they have an X account. When was it last updated? That's the question. Oh, 2018.
Oh dear.
They have a website. Nope, it's it's gone.
Oh, that's not a
So
good sign.
I would say they don't exist.
Yeah.
So that sucks. So yeah, but I'd love to see a new game in that series.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my next one is a pretty easy crowd pleaser, I think. Panzer Dragoon.
Oh yeah, that series just kind of went away.
Yeah. The last new one was Panzer Dragoon Orta on the original Xbox. Now,
Holy
there
crap!
was a remake of the original Panzer Dragoon that came out just a few years ago, like I think a year or two, maybe 3. And that game's fine. It's a good remake. I enjoy it. Make a new one.
I could be wrong, but I think that may have been a game in the list of Sega games that they said that they're bringing back.
Oh.
Remember, like Crazy Taxi was announced in Jet Grind Radio and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
think Panzer Dragoon was in that list.
Yeah.
Sega
I mean,
announced.
it would be because like the Panzer Dragoon fans, they love it. You know.
It was not. Never mind. It was not. They announced Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, and Streets of Rage.
Well,
We're
they
all
should
getting
fucking add Panzer Dragoon to that.
Maybe that'll be their phase 2 in their phase 2
Maybe.
series of updates. But yeah, absolutely.
I think
100%.
you could do some really cool stuff, like because we were talking about load times on the PS5 being so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the kind of variety in the levels you could have if you didn't have to keep recycling the same assets for the because it's like a rail shooter, right? It's like Star Fox. You're on a predetermined path.
Hear me out on this one. VR seems like a perfect fit for VR to me. Yeah, like just put me on the back of the dragon, and I got my 2 shooting. Seems perfect fit.
Yeah.
But I don't think Sega's made any VR titles. Oh no, they've done no. Have they?
Well, they've probably done some stuff in the arcade. But as for home games,
yeah, nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. But maybe this would be a good place to experiment with it.
I think that would be perfect.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah.
All right. My second last one is. Do I go with the old one or the new one? Let's go with the old one. I've done 2 new ones in a row, newer ones. Diddy Kong Racing. How did we never get a sequel to that game? No one will ever know. Sold really well. Was fantastic. Yeah, they doubled down on Mario Kart, and I guess they didn't feel like they needed 2 kart racers.
Yeah.
But
Diddy Kong Racing was fantastic. Flying.
Yeah, you had hovercrafts and flying and multiple characters and great level design. You had an adventure mode.
We did get Banjo Pilot, which is one of the annotations I had to make to our video that we did yesterday about what happened to Diddy Kong Pilot. It became Banjo Pilot.
Did that get released?
Yeah.
Banjo Pilot?
Yeah, so apparently what happened was because Rare was getting acquired by Microsoft at the time.
GBA.
they couldn't get the rights to use Nintendo characters, even though it was going on a Nintendo platform. It was just too murky at that point, so they reworked it into Banjo Pilot instead because they had the rights to the Banjo characters.
Well, I don't consider that a sequel.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Diddy Kong Racing is so good. Everything about it is so good. The fact that you can like upgrade your items by hitting it 3 times, and
you know what? That should be a Switch 2 launch title: Diddy Kong Racing Remake, and then follow up with a sequel. Absolutely.
Oh man, yeah. Heck, if you don't do a sequel, do a remake of Diddy Kong Racing. Exactly.
Like, that would be try and gauge interest.
I'm on board. Let's go.
Do it, cowards.
All right, what's your...
Then you'd have to negotiate the rights for, like, Conquer and...
Oh, yeah, they've lost all that to Rare, right? Well, I don't know. Does Rare... No. Nintendo must own...
No, Rare owns Conquer.
Oh, yeah, I guess they would.
Loaded. And Rare
they can still make a Diddy Kong Racing remake and just replace the characters.
Yeah, put in Mario Kart characters.
Yeah.
By which I guess I just mean Mario characters.
Yeah.
I don't know why I phrased it like that.
Yeah. I mean, they Nintendo and Xbox could negotiate, I'm sure.
Yeah, they've done it before.
Yeah. All right, what's your last one?
My last one is really easy. Lemmings.
Yeah.
Make another Lemmings, Rockstar.
Lemmings last game. Let's see.
I think there was a PSP port. And there was also Lemmings Revolution on PC, which was like the idea is that the level is on the outside of a cylinder, and so it wraps around, which was actually kind of a neat idea. But
there was a Lemmings game in 2018.
What the fuck?
It's called Lemmings: The Puzzle Adventure. Was it an actual Lemmings game, or was it a...
That sounds like one of those spin-off games, like The Adventures of Lomax.
No, it says it's a mainline game.
Really?
Yeah, no, I see blockers and stairs and... Oh, is this a mobile game?
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's a mobile game.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
I mean, kind of, but that's the thing. I don't think Lemmings works on a small screen. You really, really need to be able to see a lot. And I don't trust my fingers to do that. At least not on a phone screen. On a tablet, maybe. But what I really want is a Lemmings level editor. That's just part of the game. It's not third-party software or anything like that. Just a fucking Lemmings level editor. You can share your levels online. We already know people love to do that because of Mario Maker. Think about it. Unlimited Lemmings. You've heard of Oh No More Lemmings. This is Oh No Infinite Lemmings.
I'm trying to find like games like Lemmings.
I think there's like a clone for Linux that has penguins.
Oh, Pingus.
That's a word.
No, it is. It's Pingus.
Yeah.
Or Pingus.
Yeah. Pingus.
Yeah, nothing recent. Oh, what is this? Lemini. Oh, it's a platform-independent game engine. For Lemmings in Java.
Oh, like a source port or something, I guess.
Yeah.
That's funny. Remember Lemmings Paintball?
Yep. Oh, that was good.
Yeah, but why paintball? Why Lemmings? Why would you put those two things together?
It's a good question. But no, I agree. I can't believe there's not another Lemmings game.
There were so many of them. They were making one like every single year for like 5 years. Maybe that's why people got sick of them.
I feel like there was a Lemmings like recently that I played though. It wasn't in the list that I found. I don't know. Yeah, no, I agree with you though. Lemmings is great.
Yeah.
All right, my last one is Child of Light. This was an Ubisoft game.
They had Yoshitaka Amano do art for that game.
Yeah, this was during that Ubisoft art engine.
Yeah, like Rayman Origins.
Yes, Rayman Origins, Child of Light. I think they also did Valiant Hearts in that engine. It's one of the best RPGs I've ever played. 2D RPGs, at least. Absolutely fantastic, amazing music, great combat. I have to assume it just didn't sell well, but they did like a definitive edition and like a re-release, so like it
Mm.
must have done decently for them to put that effort into it though. And they did DLC, so I just wish that Ubisoft would bring back the games of that engine because they were really good,
Mm-hmm.
really good stuff. So
I
yeah,
don't know.
give me a sequel to
I
that.
don't know how well Rayman Origins sold, but I kind of got the
Well, I mean, they made a
impression.
sequel. They made Legends.
Oh, is that a sequel?
Yeah, Legends is a sequel to Origins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because like last I saw, it's just been Rabbids stuff. Like the Rabbids thing just kind of took over.
Your
You know,
volume
like
went down. Did something
oh,
change?
I might have sat back a little bit.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah,
wanted to make sure everything was good.
it's like you remember how they did Despicable Me, and then the Minions kind of took over that franchise, and now it's just Minions.
Yeah,
It's like they had Rayman, and then they made Raving Rabbids, and now the Rabbids just took
yeah.
over everything.
No, I think what happened with Rayman that you're probably misremembering is Origins did really well, and then Legends came out, but Legends was a Wii U exclusive, so it didn't do well.
Oh,
And then they eventually ported it to
probably when it was too late.
yeah, and then they never made another Rayman.
Yeah,
All right, that is topic of the week. Um,
that was pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, which brings us to
20 questions.
video games 20 questions. Let me write down my timestamp
Yeah.
so I remember where
And
that was.
today you have brought the game, and I am guessing.
I have indeed, sir, brought a game for you to guess. And it's a game that I've picked before, but switched it out for another game at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I never got to use it. I guess that's a tip, but
I
not really.
guess, but not really. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, let the questioning begin.
Okay, well, I'll start with, as always, did this game come out on or after the day that Lunar Silver Star Story became most hard to find, aka January 1st, 2000?
Did it come out on or after January 1st, 2000? Yes.
Okay. Did this game come out on or after January 1st, 2010?
Yes.
I don't even have the energy to type out the full things in the chat to keep track of. Is this game an exclusive game? So it's probably not first party. Oh, I guess it's been long enough that I should ask, did this come out on or after January 1st, 2020?
No.
Okay.
That's 4.
Yeah. So it's not exclusive. And if it's not exclusive, it's not going to be a first party title. At least not likely. Let's see. Was this game developed by a Japanese studio?
Let me check on that.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Does this game have multiplayer?
6.
Yep. So, a non-exclusive, non-Japanese game with no multiplayer between 2010 and 2020. Let's see. Was this game published by EA, Ubisoft, or Activision?
No.
That narrows down a lot. Let's get into some genre questions. It's probably not going to be a shooter, because most shooters would have multiplayer. Is this a racing game?
No.
Okay. Is this a sports game? That also means it's not a wrestling game, because you would categorize wrestling as sports. That also means it's probably not like snowboarding or skateboarding or anything like that, because you also consider those sports. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Is this a sci-fi game?
No.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I think that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10.
Yep, that's 10.
Not looking good so far.
No, but we'll see how it goes. Let's see. Let's stick to genres, not multiplayer. What's a genre that typically doesn't have multiplayer? I guess asking about sports was dumb because those generally have multiplayer.
And racing.
Yeah, yeah. So it's probably also not a fighting game because those tend to have. Well, I mean, they always have multiplayer. So I can avoid asking about that.
Using good logic.
And it's not a Japanese game, so again, probably not a fighting game. Is this a role playing game?
No.
Interesting. It's not going to be an RTS because those always have multiplayer. It's definitely not going to be a MOBA because those are multiplayer. Maybe a stealth game? How many stealth games were there in that period? Not a whole lot. The only one that comes to mind immediately is Metal Gear Solid 5, which is, of course, Japanese. And I guess there's also like Splinter Cell games, but those are Ubisoft.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. If you run out of ammo, you can have mine. You got enough? Absolutely. Infinite ammo. And he just fucking points at the headband from MGS1
I love it.
that gives you the infinite ammo. And that's just a thing in MGS2. What a weird thing in a weird game. That's probably the most normal thing in that game.
Why do I talk like this?
Between having your dick grabbed by the president and
Well, Trump knows all about that.
actually, you know what? There's been a lot of presidential dick grabbing and grabbing in general.
Grabbing in general.
Cigars.
Did you see Batista's rant on Trump on Jimmy Kimmel?
No.
You gotta watch it. It was funny.
Oh, let's see. Single player game. Man, that's what's tripping me up because so many of the things I can think of would have multiplayer. What's a genre that wouldn't have multiplayer? RPG is the first thing that comes to mind, but it's not one of those. Maybe genre is the wrong way to go. Maybe I gotta go for more of a concept. Like, is this game about doing a particular thing? What's a particular thing that you would do in a game, but that you wouldn't do with other people, and thus there's no reason to make it multiplayer?
I like your line of thinking.
Yeah, there are those simulator games. Like there's Farm Simulator, and there's Euro Truck Simulator. Those are single player games because those are just things that you do on your own. But I don't think you'd pick one of those. There's those. There's games like My Summer Car where you do jobs and you repair a car. I don't know if you'd do that. I don't know if you'd pick that.
I mean, the rule of thumb is that it needs to be a game of note. So that's all I can really say there.
Yeah.
I would not put shovelware.
Yeah. So, what's an activity that you would do in a game? And it's not going to be a survival game because those are always multiplayer, like Minecraft. So I know it's not going to be Valheim,
which has been officially removed from Game Pass, so I can't play it anymore.
Oh,
it's okay. Whenever they whenever they complete it in like 16 years, I'll buy it and play it. Although there'll probably be 16 other better Valheim likes out by then.
Yeah.
I really want to play Enshrouded and Nightingale, I think is one. Still only on PC, so I can't play those.
I just had a thought. This was in the era of Kinect. Maybe it's a Kinect game.
You do know it's not exclusive, just to remind you of that.
Right, but there were games that also used like the PlayStation, whatever the fuck their equivalent was, their camera.
Move.
Yeah, so like something like Just Dance could fit the bill, except that's Ubisoft. But what's like Just Dance? And would that be considered multiplayer? Because lots of people can play along, but it doesn't necessarily have to track more than one person. I don't think that's something you'd pick. What's another activity that you would only do by yourself that you would have in a video game?
There are also some common questions you haven't asked as well that you
Yeah,
typically ask. Just pointing that out.
yeah,
Not trying to help.
yeah. I feel like this far in, going with the route I'm on now might be the way to go. I'm trying to approach this a little bit differently. The problem is a lot of those games that I'm thinking of are generally PC exclusive, and it's not exclusive. So it's not Power Wash Simulator because that's too recent. Does that have multiplayer? I
Power
don't
Wash
remember if
Simulator?
that. Yeah,
I can't tell you. It'd be cheating.
I don't remember if that has
Right.
multiplayer or not, but it doesn't matter because it's too recent. Oh, here's the obligatory cat appearance.
Love his look. He's just
Unimpressed,
yeah. He just doesn't care.
unenthused,
You're fine, buddy.
and being stretched out into a salami.
Oh, he's funny.
No, too recent. I was about to say, what about Stray? That's too recent. That's too recent. Now the animal has opened up a whole new train of thought. It can't be Nintendogs because that's not recent enough. But maybe Nintendogs plus cats on the 3DS. But does that have? I think
Is that exclusive?
It is exclusive. Yeah, you're right. And I think there is like multiplayer.
I gotta stop helping you. You'd be.
I think there's like communication features over Wi-Fi. Because I think like dogs can play with each other or something if you link up with it. Anyway, whatever. It's definitely not that. Okay, well I'll try another route. Do you shoot things in this game?
Yes.
Okay, so a shooting game. Now shooting could refer to shooting a photo, but I can't think of any games that match these other criteria in which you take pictures of stuff. Tricky. Is this a horror game?
No.
No. So it can't be Fatal Frame. And I guess Outlast, technically, you're shooting video.
It's 13.
Yeah. Shoot things. You shoot things, but it's not multiplayer. What's a game where you shoot things, but it's not multiplayer?
I know one.
Yeah, I know one as well because you didn't guess Extreme G3. But guess what? This is why
That's
I already
multiplayer.
asked. Yeah, but this is also why I asked if it was racing.
Mm.
Yeah. A single-player game where you shoot things. That is really hard. Because those are almost always multiplayer. Especially in this day and age. And it can't be like some kind of sci-fi futuristic shooting because we've established that it's not a sci-fi game. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. This has got me. This isn't leaving me feeling like I'm totally stumped. I feel like there's cracks I can feel my way into it, wedge open, but I'm really having to think about it.
There's some big stuff you've missed for sure.
Yeah. Man, I am just. What's a game where you shoot things, but it isn't multiplayer? Every shooting anything I'm thinking of has multiplayer.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's got to be some kind of unconventional shooting. It can't just be shooting guns. It's got to be some other kind of shooting, right? Because if it's got a gun, like even Splatoon is an online game.
You're gonna really hate yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone's screaming.
Maybe this is like maybe I'm overcomplicating this. Maybe this is simpler. Maybe it's like a side-scrolling game, like a Contra or something.
Maybe. I would say they're
Ooh,
screaming, but they're probably not screaming the game name, but they are screaming names of games that prove you wrong.
yeah, but this is why I'm thinking of like side-scrolling stuff. Those Blaster Master Zero games, you shoot stuff. Those are Japanese, but they're side-scrollers. They're not multiplayer, and you do shoot stuff,
Hmm.
and they are sci-fi. But games like that do exist. Um, maybe it's Vampire Survivor. You did mention that yesterday, but
I will
does
say
that
there is a meta.
does that game have multiplayer? I don't know. Okay, let's eliminate perspectives. Is this a top-down game?
No,
Okay.
it's 14.
Yeah. So it can't be Helldivers 1 because that was top-down like a twin stick shooter. Is this a first-person game?
No,
Okay. So it isn't necessary. Well, it could be third person. Is this a 3D third person game?
yes,
Okay.
it's 15.
Can't be Gears of War because that was it wasn't. It's not exclusive anymore, but it does have
Well, that was
multiplayer
16. Sorry. So you have three
and
questions and a
it's
guess.
sci-fi. So third person game where you shoot things that doesn't have multiplayer. Man, I see this is my worst fear because my knowledge of third person shooters is really limited. Like all of the ones that I've played have multiplayer. I mean, I'd say Resident Evil 4 because that doesn't have multiplayer, but that's pre 2010. And Resident Evil 5 and 6 both have multiplayer because they've got co op. So it can't be one of those. Oh, but maybe it could be Resident Evil Revelations. Maybe.
You did
But
ask
it's
if it
not
was a
horror.
horror game.
Yeah, so it can't be that. It
I
can't be
will
that.
say that you are probably not going to get it at this point.
No. No.
I think you're very far right now. I think some of the questions may have misled you, but
yeah.
there's nothing really I can do about it, unfortunately, because it's the
Yeah.
questions you asked.
Ooh.
But I know you won't give up. You'll keep going.
No, because there's no point in giving up. Man, what fits this bill? This is tough.
I would say review what you've asked and just pay attention to what
I
you've
am
asked.
reviewing to what I've asked. I've been reviewing it the whole time. I gotta zero in on the shooting thing. What is a third-person shooter that doesn't have multiplayer? Maybe it's something unconventional, something that wouldn't lend itself well to multiplayer, and that's why it's not multiplayer. So maybe it's not just like a shoot the mans with bullets until they fall down kind of thing. This is tough. Every single thing I can possibly think of that is a third-person shooter is eliminated by other questions that I've asked. Like I genuinely, I feel like this is gonna be a game that I've never heard of. Because like, what could possibly?
I would never pick a game you wouldn't have heard of.
What could possibly be a third-person shooter that doesn't have multiplayer, isn't sci-fi, and isn't horror? Like, what else exists in that space?
I think you need to come at it from a different angle.
I spent time doing the different angles, and I wasn't getting anywhere. It can't be Red Faction Guerrilla because that's sci-fi and it's got multiplayer. Like, what even third-person shooters do I know of? No, I'm not gonna get it. I'm just trying to now. I'm just trying to think of like what it could even possibly be. Like I would at least like to get something within throwing distance of it. Man, I am woefully unprepared for a third-person shooter. Every single one that I can think of is sci-fi or horror or multiplayer. Because like we were playing Sniper Elite, but we were playing it. It's multiplayer. How many am I in now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That is not looking good.
You're nowhere near.
Yeah. Fuck it. Let's just try to move this along. Was this released on or after January 1st, 2015? So it's pre. Well, that doesn't help, but at least it's moving closer to the inevitable failure. What the fuck out? What the fuck came out between 2010 and 2015? Resident Evil 6, but that obviously is all the wrong things. It's Japanese. It's sci-fi. It's horror. It's got online. Like, it couldn't possibly be wronger. It can't be Operation Raccoon City for all the same reasons. It can't be that fucking Umbrella Corps game that they did, their esports game that died immediately because it's too recent.
There are multiple attempts at that.
Third-person shooters came out.
I feel like I should pull the plug because
No. Let me own my failure.
You will understand why I would pull the plug at this point.
Yeah, but you're not going to, because I will fail on my own terms. Even if I have to throw a complete random guess out there, I will fail on my own terms.
Okay.
Is this a game where you shoot people?
Yeah.
Okay, so you shoot the mans.
You shoot the man.
Because it's like maybe it's like target shooting or something. If you said no, I'd have been like, oh, maybe it's like a, some kind of weird sports, like, but not sports, but like, something like skeet shooting or something. Who the fuck knows? Maybe it's Link's crossbow training. It can't be, but
I think that was your last question. Let me just double check. I think that was 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. No, you got one question, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Fuck it. Does the main character of this game wear brown?
Probably.
Well, I need a yes or no, or I don't know.
I would say yes.
Well, is it yes?
I'm
Look
sure.
Look up a screenshot.
Without giving anything else away, that's all I can say.
Okay, so this is a game where you can, I guess, change clothing or change characters or something. And at some point, brown is worn, and at some point, it isn't. Okay, who wears brown? Who the fuck wears brown? Leon wears brown, but we know it's not Resident Evil. I just have to guess at this point. Okay, who wears brown? Who wears brown? But sometimes, but not always. I don't know. Fucking, no, that's a first-person shooter. The fuck third-person shooter? I genuinely don't know. Like, I cannot... Like, you could put a gun in my head and I would not be able to even get close to this, because...
No,
like, my brain's... Like, literally every single third-person shooter is either multiplayer or sci-fi or horror. I genuinely don't know of any that exist that aren't and fit this time frame. Like, it is not a thing. I can't even think of any that don't fit that time frame. Like, I cannot think of any third-person shooter in history that isn't disqualified by this. So I'm gonna say I can't even. Can I even think of a funny comedy answer? I don't think
Sure.
that I can.
Watch you just guess a random game and it ends up being the game. I would kill myself. It would be over.
Is this Deadly Premonition 2?
It is not Deadly Premonition 2.
Damn it.
Oh, hold on. Dante has returned.
Oh, is the cat going to tell me what game it is? It can't be Deadly Premonition 2. That's a Japanese game. I was like, that's not technically horror. It's also comedy.
This is a true statement.
Yeah, I genuinely cannot think of anything.
Okay, so I'll let you know where you went wrong. So where you strayed yourself, this is where you're going to kick yourself, is that you asked if there was any shooting in the game, and I said yes. And then you asked if it was third person, and I said yes. And for some reason, it correlated in your mind that instantly makes it a third-person shooter. I would never describe this game as a third-person shooter.
But it's third person and you shoot things.
You do shoot things, but it was never clarified that is the main thing you do in this game.
Yeah, but like I can't even think of anything.
Developed in Canada by United Front Games.
Never heard of them.
Taking place in Japan. Published by Square Enix in August of 2012, which I was shocked at. That's very late for this PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation game. Sleeping Dogs.
Sleeping Dogs doesn't have multiplayer?
Nope.
Oh.
It is an entirely single-player game with the sort of main... So it's an open-world action-adventure.
Okay.
Where the main gameplay is melee combat. But there is shooting involved. But you're mostly just, driving around, running around, story-based missions, martial arts moves.
In my head, that's just a GTA clone, and I was like, well, if it's a GTA clone, it's got to have multiplayer, because GTA 4 has multiplayer, GTA 5 has multiplayer.
GTA 4 doesn't have multiplayer.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
I don't think
yes,
so.
It does.
Multiplayer? Let's see.
It's got a bunch of multiplayer modes. It's got it's got cops and crooks. It's got
oh yeah, you're right. 32 players freely across the map.
Yeah, and like assassination missions and stuff.
I wonder why that never took off in the way that GTA 5 did.
GTA 2 had multiplayer. I remember it being weird that 3 and Vice City and San Andreas didn't.
I mean, it made sense that 3 didn't. It was the first 3D game, so they wanted
and it was
to
on
nail
the PS2, which didn't have a modem at the time.
That's true
as
well.
Yeah, I had no idea that Sleeping Dogs didn't have multiplayer. It never ever occurred to me that it wouldn't, especially because it was out during that time when they were pushing for multiplayer on everything. Okay, the
meta for this choice was the fact that it was my 6th game for my games that I want sequels to.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to kick myself over that because I just always assumed it on multiplayer.
That's what killed it for you, not the fact that it's not a third-person shooter?
No. I figured it would 100% have multiplayer. It never ever entered into my mind that it could even be viable for this list.
I figured it. I figured it wasn't entering your mind because of the fact that it's not a third-person shooter.
No, that seems to be the thing. The ones that I get stumped on are the ones where it's like, oh, I didn't know that was. I didn't know that this qualified for these questions. I didn't know that Black was published by EA. Had no idea. I didn't know that Bloody Roar was on the PS1. It never ever would have occurred to me because it's like, no, that's disqualified because something on the questions violates the possibility. And it's, nope, I'm just completely wrong about that.
Yeah, when did the PlayStation 4 release? In 2013. So, yeah, Sleeping Dogs came out a year and 2 months before PS4 came out. It's crazy. Well, I apologize for...
No, there's nothing to apologize for.
You're not getting there.
I probably... I should have played Sleeping Dogs. I never played it because I just...
You should play it. It is very good. I've never played the definitive edition.
It just looks like a GTA game, and I've already got GTA, so why would I play it?
It's much different than a GTA clone. I think that's why it didn't sell super duper well.
Maybe too many people made the same assumption that I did.
Yeah,
I do that a lot. That's a problem I've got.
Yeah, it's way more cool, story based, Yakuza type vibe. Yeah. Not Yakuza the game vibes, but it's about the Yakuza.
Yeah.
Much more serious tone, and it's got like a Batman Arkham combat system.
But isn't Batman Arkham Combat just where you hit the one button over and over again?
No, you have to
that's what Arkham Asylum was like.
Did you play it on easy mode or something?
I don't remember. I played that game when it first came out.
Oh yeah, you need to play those games again.
Since. Yeah,
no, you have to punch. You have to jump over certain enemies. You have to counter certain enemies. Yeah, you can't just mash the punch button in those games.
Yeah, that's all I remember. I remember mashing the punch button and beating up a bunch of goons, and I was like, oh. Okay.
Weird.
And then I lost interest in it.
Maybe was just you didn't play far enough to get to the point.
Maybe it unlocks more combat stuff. Yeah.
Well, you don't face off against the more complicated enemies immediately. It gets you used to the combat system. Yeah, you need to play those games again. Those games are amazing.
Yeah. See, this is what I really like about Prototype is Prototype starts you at the end of the game and like literally shows you off all the cool shit you'll unlock over the
Mm.
course of the game, and then it flashes back to when the game, like when the story starts, because like it gives you a look like here's what's coming. You just gotta wait for it. Like
So
I gotta know that I'm gonna get cool shit.
it's
You know.
Batman. Why wouldn't you get cool gadgets and shit?
Well, I know about the gadgets and stuff, but I was like, I want to do like,
Well, sir, I think
yeah,
along with Mass Effect, you need to add
yeah,
Batman Arkham trilogy to your list of games.
trilogy. Aren't there like 5 of those games?
I mean, there's a
Like,
fourth one that wasn't made by Rockstar that I wouldn't bother with.
you mean Rocksteady?
Rocksteady, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins,
Nope.
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Origins was the non-Rocksteady one.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
it's Arkham Asylum and then City and then Night.
And then what about Gotham Knights? Is that a thing,
It's
or
not. Yeah, it's
that's
not.
like a multiplayer game, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can play it alone, but it's not good, and
Okay.
it's not. It's technically a direct sequel, but it's not the same game,
In
and
the
it's
same
not
way
made by
that
Rocksteady, so who cares?
in the same way that the Suicide Squad game is like, oh, technically, but not really.
Yeah, exactly. It's not.
Yeah.
It's completely different. It's very it's same thing with like Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda being a
Oh
sequel to
yeah.
Mass
Oh
Effect. It's like it's
god.
not. It's just not. You know.
Branding.
Yeah. So yeah. Play Arkham Asylum, City, and Night. Night's my favorite one, which is the
Man,
most controversial one, but
I'm gonna
I
have
love it.
to add a lot to the list.
Yeah.
Capital T, capital L, the list.
Watch for sales, Steam sales. I'm sure you could get friggin' an Arkham
Oh yeah,
collection
the
for like
Arkham games go on sale
$5.
all the fucking time.
Yeah, and the remaster collection you could probably get for really really cheap too.
Doesn't the PC version of Arkham Knight have like really serious performance issues?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it did. I don't know. I'm assuming they fixed it because I stopped hearing about it. So
Yeah. Or maybe they stopped updating it.
let me Google that real quick.
That's
Did
what
they
that could
ever
mean as well.
fix Arkham Knight on PC? Yes, it was fixed years ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I played it in 2020. I had no problems with it whatsoever. Yeah, yeah, play it.
Okay.
It's great. I love it.
All right, let's wrap it
So
up.
yeah, you have a lot of games to play. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least you have a PC that can play them.
Yeah. That's nice.
That's nice. And you can get them cheap on Steam
Yeah.
or GOG. GOG might have them even cheaper. Keep that in
Yeah.
mind. All right, this has been Press Pause a Gaming Podcast, episode 18. If you want to reach me, you can reach me on BlueSky. I am
Yes,
no
you've
longer
made-
on Twitter
Yes.
because, quite frankly, fuck Twitter and fuck Elon. I am over it,
Yeah.
and I'm over that cesspit of depravity and bigotry and negativity. I can't do it anymore. I keep getting
Fucking-
sucked
you
into the
can't-
void.
You can't block people and have it actually block them now. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and any image you
Elon's
post is
fair
licensed
game
to
for their AI training. Yeah.
Yeah. like no.
You know what I said? You should put fuck Elon in every tweet, or Elon sucks, I think I said, so that
Yeah.
their text training picks up on that.
Picks
You
up on
should
that.
also have fuck Elon in every picture that you post, so their image generator training picks up on that.
I like it.
Starts putting it in shit.
Yeah.
Poison the well.
Yeah, I don't know if you got my message, but 12 million people joined BlueSky within 48 hours.
No, 12
After-
million people have joined BlueSky. 1.2 million joined in the last 48 hours. I checked.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes. Still
Because they
big numbers.
posted. No, because Blue Sky made a big announcement about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have now surpassed 12 million people on Blue Sky. There, you're right. Over 1.2 million people in the last 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it was 500,000 in the first 24 hours. Now it's
Yep.
1.2 million. So the
all the artists are leaving because they don't
Yeah.
want their shit to be scraped.
yeah, And I'm also noticing that my feed on Blue Sky is way more filled
Mm-hmm.
than it used to be. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And as for me, I can still be found on Twitter because I plan on watching the world burn. I want to be there. I want to see it. I want to be Sarah Connor holding onto the chain link fence when the bomb goes off, you know? I want to see it firsthand. But I did make a Blue Sky account today, and it's at ninjas or whatever the fuck the.
Yeah, you just say the first part.
Yeah.
The second part is assumed, basically.
Yeah. .bsky.app or whatever the fuck the
social.
address is.
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah, I don't know why
I don't
they
even fucking know.
I don't know why they do that. I'm assuming that their plan is to have like different endings for like
Instances
corporate and stuff like that. But who knows?
We'll see.
But yeah, TJ-Leo for me, at inches for him.
Yeah.
And you can, as Andrew pointed out earlier in the show, you can email your questions in to be featured on the show to code.op.podcast@gmail.com, or you can, I guess you wouldn't call it tweeting on Blue Sky. I guess they just call it posting.
They don't technically call it tweeting on Twitter anymore, but I still call it tweeting. So fuck.
Yeah, I guess they call it posting on Twitter
fuck
as
it.
well.
It's still tweeting.
It's still tweeting. Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. If you want to subscribe, click up here. If you missed the last episode, press pause. Click down there. Now get back to gaming, and we'll see you next week.
I gotta build up my Blue Sky shit.
Yes, you do. Fill it up.